This content is brought to you by Lair magazine. Are you a busy dungeon master without enough time to create content for your D&D game? Would you like professional, pre-made 5th edition adventures and other resources you can drag and drop into your existing campaign? If so, Lair magazine has exactly what you need. Every issue of Lair magazine comes with 2 5th edition adventures, maps designed for use on virtual tabletops, and other dungeon master resources. New monsters, puzzles, traps, magic items, NPCs, pre-made encounters, and more. Become a DM Lair patron today to get a new issue of Lair magazine every month, along with loads of bonus content, such as additional 5th edition adventures and map packs with even more digital maps. DM Lair patrons also get extra perks, such as playing in D&D games with me, voting on the videos I make, access to my VIP Discord channel, a monthly video hangout over Zoom, and more. Click that link below to learn more and become a DM Lair patron today.
All right, here we go. Giddy up. What's up, folks? I'm gonna go get the bacon really quick. I'll be right back. Send my daughter a message. Come get food. Where is this? Come get food. Period. Chicken and vegetable soup, stew, stuff. In crock pot. Period. Num num num. Period. There we go. Excellent. All right, parental duties fulfilled. Yeah, we have the bacon. We have the bacon. Don't worry. We're gonna get everybody hooked up. Legal note: viewers are responsible for their own bacon and must assume all costs associated with providing themselves free bacon. Yes. Thank you, Goliath Cleric, for the clarification. It should be down in the legalese section of the live stream as well. Like down, there's some like there's the description. You know, there's a bunch of links to different shameless plugs I have, and then at the very, very bottom, there's the note that you have to provide your own free bacon. Yeah. Hello, Penguin Butt. How you doing? Human Dungeon Master Inc. What's up, dude? Bacon with cheeseburger? Oh, bacon with cheeseburger. You don't put the. It's not like you don't start with the cheeseburger. You put the bacon on it. You start with the bacon, and then you put the cheeseburger on it. I like the way you think, dude. Dream's gone. What's up? Yeah, sorry, Tyrium. It's the fine print always gets us. Red Lantern appreciates the offer. Oh, come on. You don't eat bacon? Oh, are we allowed to do like moderation actions against people who don't like bacon? Like, would it be like morally reprehensible to just, if they don't like bacon, just be mean to them? Is that okay? Can we do that? Is that a thing? I feel like that should be a thing. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm old school or a little old fashioned, or maybe I'm just particularly offended by people who don't like bacon. I'm triggered. Your dislike of bacon triggers me. It's a microaggression. We're gonna have to take action. It's gonna get violent around here. Sorry. All right. Anyway. Cecile's like, what's with all the bacon all of a sudden? I don't know. I'm like on a bacon kick. I don't eat a lot of bacon. Like we almost never eat bacon. It's like once every so often. But anyway, I just have started talking about bacon a lot, like in a lot of my videos for some reason. I don't know. I think it's funny. You already have 3 trays of it? Oh, dude. Okay. So moderators, if Red Lantern is refusing the bacon because they already have 3 trays of it, then they're good. In fact, they should get a promotion or something. Just, yeah. Pay them double their salary. Thank you. Not liking bacon should be a crime against humanity, so I'm good with that. Tyrium of Tarovia gets a promotion too. Double their pay. Thank you. My favorite bacon is Kevin. He's getting up there in age, isn't he? He's got to be like in his 50s or something now, right? I remember watching him when I was a kid. Oh, Tremors! Oh my gosh, that's such a good movie. Yeah, that was awesome. It sucks that they couldn't get him back for Tremors 2 and 3. The Tremors series just went downhill. The first one was amazing, then you got Tremors 2 and you're like, and then you have Tremors 3. Wasn't Tremors 3 where they went back in time to the Old West? Like that one was like, yeah, that's really bad. And then there was the Tremors with the ones where they could fly. They had the butt blasters or something. What was that? Tremors 4 or something? I don't know. They just kept getting worse and worse, it seems like. Harry Schwartz, hello. Awesome. Well, I'm happy to help, dude. Congratulations on starting your DMing journey. It'll be a path of much pain, sorrow, and joy, and jubilation. Yeah, it's fun. You should like it. Kevin Bacon is 63. Oh, sweet. Google. I had this really weird thought in my mind. This is so weird. I don't know. I was out walking my dog, and I was like, what would happen right now if a silverbacked gorilla charged me? And I have a 9mm, and I'm like, would a 9mm stop a silverback gorilla? And I'm like, I don't know if that would stop it. I think that would just make it angrier. Like, if you shot like, in the torso is not gonna stop it, and its cranium has got to be thick, right? So I don't know if that would work, but I had the weirdest thought, and I'm just sharing it because I'm sure somebody on here can share their expertise. Would it stop a silverback gorilla? That's my question. See, Zachary says no, definitely not. Bacon might stop him. My dad killed a charging black bear with a 357 or whatever, however you say that. Yeah, that's interesting. Black bears are like the smaller of the bears. Yeah, a silverback gorilla is like 300 pounds of solid muscle and fury. You know, they're like they eat vegetables and they have fangs. That tells you something. No, 9mm doesn't have the stopping power. Yeah. You have a better chance with bacon. Yeah, I think, you have a better chance with bacon. Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, you would not have the accuracy to hit it right in the eye to get past. Yeah, and I don't think it would get through its cranium. There's no stinking way. It would just deflect right off. There's no way it would get through its thick skull. I don't think so. Oh, you've seen a grizzly in the wild? Ooh, dude. Shoot it in the pelvis? Forget the headshot, Luke. Go for the pelvis. Oh, okay. That was wonderful. We should probably get things rolling around here, shan't we? All right, I gotta push some buttons. Stand by. We gotta push some buttons. This is really hard. There we go. That was a pretty easy button. Just one button. Hello, what's going on? All right, live stream tonight. You ask questions, I'll answer. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna pet my kitty cats and stuff, and it'll be fun. It'll be just, yeah, it's good. Okay, cool. That was my intro. All right, so we got sleazy plugs and different things going on. Okay, we're doing a giveaway tonight. We have a giveaway going on. You get a D&D book, or you can get store credits at the DM Lair store. You can get Into the Fae. You can get back issues of Lair magazine. We have one-shot adventures. You have a whole bunch of cool crap on our store you can get, or you get a D&D book of your choice. I literally, about a month ago, somebody won, and they were like, I want Tome of Beasts, which is amazing, by the way. And I just backed their Kickstarter, too, a while ago. They have Tome of Beasts 3 coming out, so I'm like, oh yeah, I want that. So I got that bad boy. I missed out on the special edition covers, though, and I was really bummed. I really, really wish I could have the special edition covers from Tome of Beasts 3. Cobalt Press, if you're listening, I would love to have the special edition covers of your amazing Tome of Beasts 3. I have told people a lot about your wonderful products for free, and I just want the special edition covers because I love special edition covers. Anyway, what was my point? Oh yeah, the Tome of Beasts book that somebody won like a month ago has finally arrived. They were on back order and stuff because apparently they're pretty popular and people like them. Imagine that, because they're really good. So anyway, I forget who won it, but I have it now, so I'll be sending it to you very soon. Anyway, that's the point. Anyway, giveaway, there's a link down below. You can sign up for it and stuff like that. It's very fun. And what else we got going on? So we have the giveaway. We have... What else am I supposed to talk about? Oh yes, the charity. Whee! All right, we are raising money for a charity. All right, our charity right now that we're raising money for is the Capital Area Humane Society. They do lots of awesome, wonderful things for kitty cats and dogs. They have a low-cost spay and neuter clinic where you can get your dogs and cats spayed and neutered at low cost. That's why it's called low cost. Like if you go to a veterinarian to get it done, it's like, I don't know, $300. I got a quote. It was crazy. See, my cat agrees. He went there. He has fond memories of going there, don't you, little guy? He's like, no, I don't. But at their spay and neuter clinic, it's like $30. It's so crazy affordable. So they're doing lots of cool stuff to help folks out. And they also do this thing. I took a tour of their facility, and they literally go to animal shelters down south where the animals would usually be euthanized. They're called high kill shelters, and they rescue dogs from down there. They truck them up to Michigan, and then they find homes for them. So they're literally saving dogs that would otherwise be euthanized. So I took a tour of their facility a little while back, and they were talking about that, and it's very, very cool. So anyway, we're trying to raise money for them. All tips, 100% of all tips go toward the Capital Area Humane Society. I think we have $80 raised right now. When we get to $500, we give them a big old donation. So thank you. If you would like to contribute, tipping is just the way to go. All right. And we're almost there. We're almost to the question and answers. I have one more thing to do. And it is to say thank you to my wonderful patrons and YouTube channel members. So the DM Lair team, there's a lot of us that do this, but the DM Lair team publishes lots of content for the D&D community. We have tons of free content that goes on our website, thedmlair.com, that you can use in your games. Monsters, traps, puzzles, adventures, lots of free content out there for you to use. And we also, obviously, we do the weekly videos, we do the live streams, to help you guys out, to help you be better dungeon masters, learn things, blah, blah, blah. You know, you can learn from my mistakes and experience and crap like that, whatever. You know, but the other thing too that these patrons and YouTube members help support is Lair magazine, which is the premium resource that we publish to all DM Lair patrons. So I'm very, very appreciative. All of these folks here help us do what we do. And I'm, like I said, very, very appreciative. I love my patrons and YouTube channel members and the support they give. They allow me to do this stuff, and it's very, very cool. These folks right here support all of our content at a higher level, and so they get their names read out loud by me. Yeah, they've bribed me to read their names, so here we go. 5e Magic Shop, Aerospatial, Alex H, Alex T, Amanda W, Ambers, Andrew M, Andree U, Andy S, Andy W, Anthony M, Antoine B, Arutha Baldwin, Benjamin B, Blinking Duck, Brad A, Brandon A, Celestina K, Chase O, Chris C, Chris E, Cody B, Colton T, Connor A, Contrary Gravy, Cody S, Damage Dice, Drexus, Dresna, Dutch, Ed R, Edward L, Ericos Flip H, Flame Black 200, Frog, Goliath Cleric, Gravy Choranger, Munder H, Ian F, Iron Lord 79, It's Bayobond, Izzy T, Jacob S, Jake L, Jacob K, James L, Jens K, Jeremy W, Jessica J, JM, Joel L, John A, Joseph H, Josh S, Justin P, Kale S, KK, Keith L, Kevin S, TFWF, Kevin O, Kezides, Kirby, Kyle G, Kyle M, Labradorworks, Leopold X92, Lionheart, Lodwick B, Marwin R, Melinda G, Mr. Long Q, Mr. T, Neo, Nikita S, Owen D, Paul H, Penguin Butt, PRP, Polish Author, Radiance Guardians, Ramus Razlik, Race W, Runner C, Rob M, Robert C, Robin O, Ron R, Ronald, Ryan, Sakura, Scott F, Shane L, Snapragger, Snowy Tiggy, Son of a Sofa Man, Soul Naya, Status Alive, Stephen T, Steve D, Stefan A, Stephen A, maybe, Tattoo Tokens, Talking Napkin, The Three Quarters Hospital, The Old DM, The Pickle, The Casual Nerd, The New Bed, Owen Bray, Thomas T, Tigger 500, Tiger 500, Tim Black, Tom C, Tony M, Traveling Catch, Tristan W, Tyler R, Vincent G, Will M, X Redrum, Zoot Suits. Woo! Oh, wow. I was on a roll right there. All right, who timed me? Who timed me? How long did it take me? I was like cruising. My tongue was working better than it normally works. Did anybody time that? Oh, come on. Don't let me down. I got a new best time. I have a new best time for sure. What do you mean I told you to stop timing you? What are you talking about? I told you to stop timing. No, don't listen to me. Why do you listen to me? Moderators, you know that I'm crazy. The moderators have to keep the show on the road. Was it just under 2 minutes? You said to stop. Don't cry. Joe Matt. Yeah, I am 300 subs away from my silver play button. I know. I was looking at that today. I was like, what am I at right now? I was like, ooh, I'm getting close. It was alright. Yeah, it was very nice. Uh-oh. What was I at? What am I at right now? Oh yeah, no, dude, I'm 226 subs away from the silver play button. Ooh, it's nice. You know what happens when I get the silver play button? I get the silver play button. I don't know. That's cool though. It's an accomplishment. I'll take it. Thank you. It's beautiful. I have my moderators are sending me messages. Is there an emergency? Oh, okay. I see something from Ed from Discord. All right. Let's see. Ed Robinson, thank you for becoming a member 4 days ago. Oh, well, thank you, Ed. Jordan Allen, thank you for becoming a member 4 days ago. I'm a little behind. Mr. Gore, thank you for becoming a member 2 days ago. Kirby, thank you for the $25 tip that goes to the Capital Area Humane Society. Thank you so much, dude. You're like our top donor, dude. Like every time we have a charity, you're like our top donor. You're awesome. I appreciate that so much, dude. I think my wife was talking about you yesterday or something like that. We were talking about charity donations or something. I can't remember what it was. And my wife was like, yeah, but you have like that one guy who like gives like 80% of the money. And I'm like, yeah, that guy's awesome. That's very cool. Maxim Salen, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Just as a reminder, members do get priority in their questions. So feel free to throw some questions in there and I'll probably give you crappy answers that will cause you to cancel your membership. So I apologize in advance. Let's get some questions going on here. We all know that Polymorph automatically fails against shape changers, but my DM in Curse of Strahd polymorphed Strahd Van Zerovich into a freaking purple worm. I know his game, his table, but... Oh, does polymorph fail against shape changers? Let's go. Let's take a look. Let's go to D&D Beyond, shall we? I want to look at polymorph. I don't know if that's a thing. Polymorph. I know there are monsters that specifically say that things that change their form automatically fail. Go, goodbye, dismiss. Polymorph. Is that actually a thing? An unwilling creature, blup. I see nothing in here. Literally nothing. I'm just reading the spell description. It literally says nothing in here can change your form. It does not say that. It just says a creature you can see within range. There's nothing in here that says that polymorph fails. So first of all,
That's the thing. So the next thing is that does Strahd have anything in here that says that like he can be polymorphed? And I feel like even if it did, he could just decide to let it work too. He's a shape changer while in bat form, while in mist form, in addition, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, there's nothing in here that says that he can't be, the shape changing doesn't prevent him from being shape changed. So, I mean, even so, like, yes, there's the whole my DM, my table thing, but even rules as written, there's nothing that I can see, just a casual glance at the rules, that would preclude Strahd from being shape changed into a purple worm, which, by the way, I want to say is amazing. Thank you. Like, I want to meet your dungeon master and shake his hand. Turning Strahd into a purple worm. That's amazing. Because Strahd is a CR 15. And what's a purple worm? A purple worm is, I mean, it's been a while since I used a purple worm. But purple worm. Come on, D&D Beyond. You can do this. This is Google 101. It is a CR 15. Yeah, so you could totally polymorph Strahd into a purple worm. That is absolutely amazing. Your GM is a genius. Thank you. That's one person who's like, Luke, you suck. I don't like the way you answer your questions because that question totally went against me. That's not what I was going for. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm honest. All right, Dead End Johnny. I am running Wild Beyond the Witchlight and I feel like my players are getting bored. I've never read, I have that. I haven't read it though at all. So I don't even know what it's about. Oh, isn't that the one where it's like not a whole lot of combat and it's mostly just like, wee? I don't know. That might be why. Maybe they want to fight crap. Is there any good source for evil fake creatures or encounters? Oh my gosh. So like you just, so that's what it sounds like. It sounds like your players are getting bored because they want to fight crap. And that, is that module? Does anybody know? Is Wild, what is that called? Wild Beyond the Witchlight? Is that predominantly like non-combat encounters? Does anybody know? Who's familiar with that? Migs says Witchlight is boring. Well, you have a D&D crowd who wants to play D&D and you give them books that aren't really D&D. You know, there's a chance that the Colonel says it's a snore. Gladclaire says it's designed so you don't necessarily have to roll initiative at all the entire module. That sounds like a game I don't want to play. Migs finished it. I haven't read it because I'm in You can avoid it in most cases, but not required to go without. Okay, so you can fight stuff. It can be combat or social, so you could fight stuff. All right. Yeah, so Fey monsters. I know we published Into the Fey, obviously, which you can get on the DM Lair store, link below. And there are some new Fey monsters in there. But as far as like just a simple resource for Fey monsters, I mean, I would probably go to the DM Guild or Drive Through RPG and Google it and search through their catalog to see if maybe there's something there that appeals to you and gives you some fake creatures. But at the end of the day, if you're going that route, you're kind of just creating your own adventures, you know, and you're just kind of like, this module just goes away and then you just make your own adventures and stuff. Yeah. I'm currently running Curse of Strahd, but my party seems to have completely forgotten about their Taroka reading. I can relate. Advice on how to subtly remind them without just telling them. No, just tell them. It's, why be subtle? What difference does it make? What difference does it make? Like, have some NPC come along and you work and weave and get them to be like, somehow like come up and be like, oh, you guys like fortune tellings and your future being read? And the players are like, I don't know, maybe. There's somebody around here that can do that sort of thing. Well, yeah, we talked with her a while ago. Oh, you did? What did she say? I don't know. We haven't really been paying attention to it. Well, it might be important for you. Are you Dungeon Master, you trying to tell us something? No, it's just a random NPC that came across. No, dude, just tell them. Be like, yo, guys, you had a Taroka reading. Just keep it in mind. There might be useful stuff in there that can help you as you want to probably defeat Strahd or at least escape Barovia.
Just tell them. I don't think there's any need to be subtle about it. What I had happen to my players is my players were terrified of going to Madame Eva. They did not want to go to Madame Eva. They were just like, we're not going there. That sounds like a trap. That sounds like a bad place to be. You know, these Vistani are not good guys and we don't trust them. And also, one of my players, Stefan, is a half Vistani. And apparently according to the culture, and the player Stefan, Kevin's his real name, he's like a really big Curse of Strahd buff and Ravenloft and knows tons of lore. He knows like the terminology and some of the like actual Vistani language and stuff that got used in like the older books and stuff. Huge buff on that sort of thing. And he was telling me that apparently in the lore, Vistani don't like half Vistani. Like they just reject them or something from their culture or something. I don't know what it was. But he was telling me about this lore. And he's a half Vistani. And so that played into my characters, the group's decision to not go to see Madame Eva. And so for the longest time, they would not get their tarot reading done. They just wouldn't do it. They were just like, we're not doing it. We're not going there. And so I was kind of like, crap, what do I do? They don't want to like go there. I have to like trick them or something. I'm like, what am I going to do? And so literally what I did is after they had defeated the Wizards of the Wines winery, they cleared that out and they were traveling to the south. There's that druid encampment. There might be some spoilers here, sorry. There's that druid encampment and that tree that they're trying to bring to life. And they defeated all of that. And then there's this like fog, this wall of fog that you can see into the past basically. And one of my players decided to walk into that wall of fog. And in that moment, I decided to have him walk into that wall of fog and go on sort of like a spirit dream or something. I don't know, where he as a player, he literally met Adam Eva and all of the other players accompanied him along, they were along for the ride. It was kind of like a dream or something. And so they actually got to go to the Vistani camp, meet Adam Eva and get their fortunes told. But I kind of had to like, them into actually doing it because they had zero intentions of seeing Madame Eva. I don't know what I did wrong. Maybe I painted her, the whole idea of going to her as creepy or evil or something. I don't know. They, for whatever reason, like they didn't want to go see her. And so I kind of had to give them a little push. and then the player didn't remember the reading that well. Like he was confused about different parts of the reading for the longest time, and they were misguided and they didn't know exactly because he didn't write it down. And then it was like, the telephone game type of thing. I think I had mercy on them though. And my player was like, this was Joe's character. He was like, Luke, I'm a wizard and my intelligence is really, really high. Is it possible for me to like make an intelligence check to see if I remember some of that reading? And usually I don't play that game, but I was like, not remembering the details of that reading. And the reading, even if you know the exact reading details, it doesn't actually help you a whole ton. You know what I mean? So if you don't remember the exact wording, then you're like totally lost. And so I was like, you know what? That's cool. Make your intelligence roll. He made it. It was high. I gave him the reading, I think verbatim. This time he wrote it down. And the crazy thing is my players still were misinterpreting it. And they were going off. They were like, they literally, and spoilers if you're watching my Curse of Strahd game on my second YouTube channel, the DM Lair streams. But in the last session, they finally got through Amber Temple. And that's where the Sun Sword actually was. And for whatever reason, they were interpreting that Sun Sword reading of the Taroka cards as it being somewhere else. And they were like, what? It's not supposed to be here. Why is it here? And they're all looking around. They're like, well, somebody interpreted that thing wrong. But anyway, it was a whole thing. But the great thing about the Taroka card readings and those items being in different places is that you can play Curse of Strahd multiple times with the same group. And every time you play through it, it's a brand new game experience. There's some marketing crap for you. And literally, like you're supposed to, oh, by the way, you're supposed to roll randomly to determine where all of those things are.
And I'm like, that's stupid. Why would I? That's dumb. I'm going to use this and I'm going to determine where I think the most dramatic and exciting places are to put these different things. And then that's where they're going to be. Thank you very much. So their Taroka reading was a sham. I mean, the reading wasn't a sham. It's just, it wasn't random. I didn't play the random game. I thought that was ridiculous. Some people are probably like, oh, that's amazing. You can do it randomly. I'll curate the important parts of my game experience. I will curate them and make sure that they are well done. Thank you. I won't leave that to random chance. All right. Well, that was a tangent. Sorry. Huber says 100% stack the deck on the Taroka. Oh yeah. And we did the reading virtually too. We weren't even at the game table. One of the things you can do is literally just have a Taroka deck and then do the reading at the game table or whatever, but I'm not going to buy one. And we were playing online anyway at the time before we went back to it in person, which, by the way, playing in person is so much better. Holy mackerel. It was like the fun increase was like 500%. You know, like we were enjoying ourselves online. But once we got back to in person, oh my word, I can't tell you how much more fun it was. The camaraderie, the excitement, the laughing, the jokes. It was a night and day difference playing online than playing in person. Holy crap balls. I didn't even when we'd always played in person, and then we transitioned to playing online, and I don't know, I guess I didn't realize the difference at the time. You know, I mean, I did realize that it was sometimes a pain in the butt to prep things, you know, because if you're in person, it's really easy to make a map. You just draw it really quick on your mat with your dry erase marker, and boom, you got a battle combat map, and you get some things out of your tackle box for some terrain if you want to, and boom, you're ready to go. Not that easy when you're playing online. So I noticed that was a pain in the butt, but I didn't realize how much less fun it was, I guess, until we went back to playing in person. And then it was just like, holy crap, it's so much better after it was like a year and a half of playing online and then going back to in person, and it was just night and day. There's no comparison. It's just so amazing. So anyway, yeah, that's probably not. Sorry, I'm just rambling random thoughts now. People are like, Luke, just answer my question. Quit talking. We don't care. Do you have any advice about running a council of dragons or using a phoenix as a leader? Not really. Like my advice is going to be to read about dragons, steep your mind in the lore of dragons, you know, the Fizbane's dragons book. Just read and think, and then, you know, use your creativity to come up with something that you think would be cool. Like it doesn't really matter how I would do it or how somebody else would do it or what I think would be cool or what X, Y, and Z person thinks would be cool. You do something that you think would be interesting and fun at your game table that you're excited about. Chances are, if you create something that you think is cool based upon the lore of dragons and all this kind of stuff, probably your players are going to like it, and your players are going to like killing your council of dragons. Chances are good. So I wouldn't fret too much about it. Just, you know, research, read, steep yourself in lore, and come up with something that you think is cool and that you will have fun being a dungeon master for. Where did I get my shirt? It's awesome. This is just off Amazon. Like, one of my moderators will link an Amazon store link to you, and I have on there all the different D&D products and stuff that I use, but I also have these shirts. Like, there were a handful of shirts that I found on Amazon, and I put them on there. And you know, I usually don't order things I don't usually order clothing online. But it's hard to find like D&D shirts in local stores. You know, you don't just walk into Kohl's and be like, hey, can you tell me where the D&D shirts are? So anyway, so I got them online, and they're like a really good quality too. I think they're like $20 each or something, but like the fabric is like really nice fabric. It's not like too thick where you're like sweating, but it's not the thin, cheap fabric either. If that makes sense. So it's pretty good. I like it. Wet Noodles just subscribed. Well, thank you, Wet Noodles. Gonna try those noodles out. Uh-oh. Here's a question from member. Anada says, are using dream sequences a bad thing? Example, the party fights the big bad and dies, but gasp, it was all a dream. My gut reaction is I wouldn't do that. Yeah. That seems more like more like something you'd put in a book or something if you're trying to write a story. But I don't know that that necessarily makes a good game experience. Like for me, if my player, if I'm fighting the big bad and the whole campaign is worked up to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the final confrontation, we're going against the big bad, and then we die, and the DM's like, oh, but it's just a dream. I'd be like, my brain is like, okay, there's two things going on. First of all, it wasn't a dream, and it was really the fight, but we all died, and so now you're like, oh, it was a dream, and I'm like, okay, dude, it's okay to kill us. It's a game. If we all TPK, that's fine. I'm a big boy. I'm not gonna cry about it. You're not gonna find me over in the corner, sobbing myself to sleep because my character died. It's okay. I'll roll a new character. We'll keep on playing. You don't gotta spare my emotions. It's a game, So it's either you pulled back or you planned it that way, and now it was a dream, and so now we gotta go fight the big bad again. So we spent the game time fighting him once, and now we're gonna go back and we're gonna fight him again. We already know what he does. It is just, we're gonna fight him again. We did it once. Why don't you just give us a new enemy to fight? That'd be more interesting than fighting the same guy again. I don't know. Yeah. I might be missing something about why it would be cool to have dream sequences, but I think from a gameplay standpoint, it doesn't appeal to me. Now, if somebody's just trying to tell a story and that's the important thing to you, then you could probably make a justification of why it makes good for a good story. But you got to remember, the game isn't just about telling a story. The game is about playing the game too. That's why we call it a game. It's both. You create situations, the players encounter those situations, they play the game, and the result is a story. But we're not trying to tell a story. That's not the objective. The objective is to run a fun game for everybody, and then after the game session is over, you have a story of what happened, and that's cool. So you have to embrace the fact that it's a game, and you can't just take things that would work well for a story and try to force them into the game and expect that it would work well. It might for some groups, probably won't for others. I want to play a game. I don't care about the DM's story. Really, usually. Like the plot and stuff could be interesting. You could have cool NPCs and villains and stuff. That's cool, right? But don't try to tell a story. Just let us play a game, and then a story will organically come of that. If you could have any creature in SND as a pet, which one? I don't know what SND stands for. Saturday night day? I don't know what that means. I'm gonna go with bacon. Let's go with the piglet because they grow up into bigger pigs and then you make bacon out of them. Piglet, final answer. Did you join the Kickstarter Fool's Gold by Dingle Dude and her friend? No. Seriously, if you can still go for it, it seems excellent. Here's the thing. I already have so many books on my shelf that I'm not going to use because I don't have time to read them, that I only back things and get things that I actually think that I will use at my game table. I don't just... Some people love to just collect things that they're never going to use, and that's great. I don't have a problem with that, but that's not what I do. If I buy something... If I back something, it's literally because I plan on using it at my game table. Like I recently backed the Kobold Press's Tome of Beasts 3 because guess what? I use those. Ask my players. I use those monsters. I back things that I want to use. So I don't just back any old everything and just fill up, and I just don't do it. It's not what I do. I don't think I would use it, so I don't get it. That's the answer. It's an interesting point, correlated point. apparently it's a thing on Kickstarter too, that like it looks really good if you've backed a lot of other projects, lots of other projects. You know, like you're running your own Kickstarter, but you've backed like 100 other Kickstarters, and that makes it look really good for you. I was literally talking to the dungeon coach about this today, and he was bringing this up, you know, and I told him, I was like, dude, do you know what I could do? Like if I really wanted to like have my backed projects list really high, I would just go to as many projects as possible. I would back them for $1, call it a day. I could back 100 projects, $100, and be done with it. And then that metric on there, people will be like, oh my gosh, he's backed so many projects. Yeah, at $1 each, it's meaningless, dude. I'm scamming the system. It doesn't mean anything. So I don't know. It's just an interesting conversation. It's those vanity metrics, you know, that have no meaning. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter how many projects you've backed. How many projects you've backed has no correlation to how well you can do your own Kickstarter and fulfill your own product. There's zero correlation. So anyway, it's a little rant. It's annoying. People fixate on the wrong things. You know, it's meaningless. Oh yeah, Dungeon Coach's Almanac. Yeah, he was talking to me about that. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this. He might have told me this in confidence, so I probably shouldn't tell you this. He's been working on it though. He's getting close. He's working on it. He's busting his butt. He literally was like, I will tell you one thing. He was like, oh man, I got so much work done on the Almanac. I was busting my butt. I was so productive. My wife was out traveling for the last 10 days and I got so much work done. And I'm going to pick her up right now from the airport. And I couldn't help but laugh. I'm like, yeah. Oh, I probably shouldn't be saying. Sorry, Alan. All right, little guy, calm down. Jeez. Oh yeah, Mr. Gore, totally. The whole funded in 5 minutes tagline. Like, what difference? Like, here's the true thing. It actually doesn't matter how fast you fund it. Here's the thing too. The advice I've received from people who run Kickstarters, people at BackerKit, and all these organizations who are pros at it, is the advice I get is literally set your project, set your the minimum goal or whatever as low as possible. Your funded goal, set that as low as possible so that you can hit that as quickly as possible. You want to get fully funded as quickly as possible, so set that as low as possible. And then, because there's a thing that happens, you know, when people see that a project is fully funded, they feel more confident to back it because it's actually going to happen. It's an ironic catch-22 though, because if it's not funded and you decide not to fund it because it's not funded yet, then the chances of it getting funded are much less. And besides which, if you back it and it doesn't hit the funding, you get refunded your money, so it doesn't matter, does it? But anyway, you're supposed to hit it really quickly. And then the other thing is too, that Kickstarter is Kickstarter, and they love it when you fund really quick and you have tons of backers and lots of people and lots of excitement, and people keep coming back to your webpage and checking on it and stuff. So there are lots of little tricks you do, you know, to try to, like, you know, manipulate Kickstarter's algorithms and stuff and make them all happy about your project so that you can maybe show up on the front page and stuff. I just was looking at Kickstarter today, and there was one project that was on the front page, and I'm just like, it's like the worst project in the world. Why would that project be on their front page? Holy crap. Somebody was like, oh, we're gonna put this as a wonderful project, and they decided to put it up there. It's like the world's worst project. I'm sorry. All right, I should probably say it's not a project that I would back by any stretch of the imagination. So, but yeah, whatever. And it hadn't funded either. It was a long way away from funding, and it had already been up for like 2 weeks or something. It's not gonna fund. All right. Do you consider yourself a dice dragon? No, I don't really care about dice. And either way, do you have a favorite set of dice for DMing? I mean, I have my DM dice, the ones I use all the time. I like them. Are they my favorite dice? I have several sets of dice I use for DMing. none of them are really my favorite dice. I do have a set of metal dice that I like a lot just because they're metal and they look cool. But you know what? If my dice are right there, if somebody stole all my dice tomorrow, I would just be like, okay, whatever. I'll just go buy some new ones, you know. And I don't even have that many. I just don't care. I personally don't understand the fixation on getting lots of dice. I don't personally get it. And people like getting dice and it's fun and that's great. I personally don't do that. Now, miniatures, on the other hand, I buy lots of miniatures. I have to paint some miniatures. I haven't painted miniatures in a while. Gotta do that. Oh, super chat. Here we go. I need a name. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Luke, what are your thoughts on YouTube removing the dislike count on videos from public view? It's stupid. It's so stupid. They keep sending these announcements to creators. Seriously, this is their reason. This is their reason for removing the dislike count from public view. Because of mental health. They don't want me to feel bad about the dislike count on my videos. They don't want me to feel bad. Well, in the analytics, I can see the dislike count. You tell me the percentage of likes. This is very clear. Now, I can't necessarily see it super easily from certain views on the YouTube Studio app. And, you know, you can't see the public dislikes on the videos itself, but it's dumb. It's just stupid. There's no reason to hide that metric. Like, it doesn't, like, yeah, it's really stupid. The reasons for doing it are ridiculous. There's a creator called Devin Nash, and he did a really, really, really good video talking about why they hid the dislike button. And I would recommend checking it out. It's DEVIN space NASH, Devin Nash. He talks about streaming a lot, but he also talks about business stuff a lot. And a lot of his stuff is pretty insightful. So I would check out that video, and it's so stupid. Just stop with it. Stop with it. It's like I have decided to create videos of myself. I have decided to put myself into the public arena, the public theater, the public's eye. I have decided to do that. If I cannot handle criticism and dislikes and negative comments and stuff, then perhaps this isn't the right thing for me to pursue with my life. Perhaps I should grow a backbone. Perhaps I should get some mental fortitude and toughness. Perhaps I should learn to deal with those things. Perhaps I should make videos that people like more and fewer ones that they dislike, which is kind of hard to do because there's always going to be someone that doesn't like your videos. But dude, it's like, come on, you know? And somebody like, well, Luke, sometimes people just want to create videos and they don't want to deal with the headache of people disliking it. Go hide from the world if you can't take criticism. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just cruel, heartless jerk. I think some days I am. I'm sorry. Newman, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Not a DM question, but I'm playing a Paladin 6 Hexblade 1 in DOTMM. I don't know what that is. I'd have to think about that. So many alphabet soup modules. Wondering, in your experience, if you think the build or play style gets boring. I have no idea. I don't play Paladin Hexblades ever, and I don't play a whole lot. So I really have no idea if it gets boring or not. Sorry. Does Luke answer the questions we pay for? LMAO. Yes, Nimnin, I do answer the questions you pay for. What was your question again? Let me see. Not a DM question, but I'm playing a Paladin 6 Hexblade 1 in DOTMM. Wondering, in your experience, if you think the build or playstyle gets boring. Yeah, I answered that one. Yeah, we got that. Check. We're gonna check that off. Check that off the box. Whee! Thank you, sir. I'm screwing with you, dude. He's like, you suck, Luke. Goodbye. I'm offended. I'm just messing. No, I probably did offend him now. What in your opinion is the most efficient way to paint large scale miniatures? Pay somebody else to do it. You want efficiency? That is the most efficient you can get. That is, well, it depends how much money you make. I mean, like, you know, how much you make per hour or something. So if you like make $15 an hour, then, and it takes you 4 hours to paint a miniature, you know, that has a cost of like $60 or so of your time, right? So if you have to pay, if you could pay somebody else, you know, you have to do some math and calculations and stuff. But definitively, the most efficient way to paint a large scale miniature is to pay somebody else to do it. That's the most efficient way to do it. If you don't want to pay somebody else to do it, let's assume you want to be less efficient. The only large scale miniatures I've painted are dragons, and those are almost always like 1 or 2 colors, and then some dry brushing and stuff, you know, so those aren't that bad. I have found that large miniatures are by and far the easiest to paint, and the smaller ones, the medium-sized creatures, tend to be the more difficult ones to paint. I would throw down, if you just want to get it ready as quickly as possible, I would see what color is the predominant color, and then I would throw down a base coat of that entire color over the whole thing. Just throw it down. And then pick out a couple things on it that should be a different color, and then paint those. Now, if your base coat was a very dark color and then you're trying to paint a lighter color over it, that might be a problem. You might need to put like some gray over the base coat areas first where you want to put the different color, and then you end up with 2 colors. All right, call it a day right there. Do some dry brushing, done. Just move on. And you're not going to have the world's best painted big, huge miniature. You're going to have a very efficiently, quickly painted one, and it might look that way, but you got it done quickly. But the thing is that the larger miniatures usually cost more too to buy them. And so an argument could be made that you probably want to spend more time on them. You just spent like $30 or something on that miniature. You want it to look good. So, but if you want it to look good and you want to be the most efficient possible, pay somebody $50 or whatever it is to paint that, and then you call it a day. There are people, dude, there are people that paint miniatures that are amazingly good at it, and they do it quickly, and they don't even charge that much. It's usually, sometimes you can get miniatures painted for like 10 or 15 bucks, and they're just like boom, and it's amazing, better than you can do. Yeah, so there's a thing you could do there. Oh, I have those grells too, Amber. Those are cool. Contrast paint, yes. I use contrast paint from Citadel. I cannot recommend contrast paint more. It's like so good. Like, you use the new Citadel contrast paint. It put your gray, what do they call that? Not the base coat, primer. Put your gray primer on, you know, and then use the Citadel contrast colors. There are 2 things about the contrast colors that are amazing. First of all, because they're very liquidy, because it's kind of like a wash and kind of like a paint, because it's very liquid, you can apply it very quickly, way faster than you could in normal paint. So it goes on very quickly. But then it also, because it's a contrast, and it's half wash, half paint, it pools, and you get contrast. You get darker areas in the crevices and the lighter areas in the elevated parts. At that point, all you really got to do is dry brush, and boom, you're done. So contrast paint, so prime, contrast paint, dry brush, very, very beautiful. Contrast paint is also very expensive, but if you want to save time and have your minis look pretty darn good, then that's a way to go for sure. Yes. As a reminder, we are doing a D&D book giveaway. There's a link floating around there where you can sign up and get in on the giveaway. You can, win a D&D book. That's why it's called a D&D book giveaway. Or you can get store credit at the DM Lair store. We got lots of cool stuff for Dungeon Masters on the DM Lair store. Into the Fae is available there. The digital copy of it. You can get back issues of Lair magazine. You can get standalone one-shot adventures. You can get map packs. You get lots of cool stuff over there. So get on the giveaway. We're also trying to raise money for charity. Our charity right now is the Capital Area Humane Society. And all tips go to the Capital Area Humane Society, 100% of all tips. And there'll be a link in the chat where you can go and tip if you want to contribute. We're at about $100 right now, $105 looks like. So we're getting pretty close to our goal of $500. It usually doesn't take us that long. We've donated to lots of different charities, and this is the current one we're focusing on. So if you would like to contribute, I love these guys. They're a humane society near where I live, do lots of awesome, wonderful stuff for cats and dogs. I want to send my players to hell. Dude, join the line, man. Join the line. But I'm struggling figuring out how to describe the environments. Are there any books or reading you'd recommend to learn about the environments? Yes, there was, I think it was a 2nd edition book. You might be able to get it on like DM's Guild or something if they're still offering them. I'm sure they're not in print. I'm gonna see if I can find the name of the book. It was like, let me see if I can find it. I can't remember the exact name of it, but I might have it somewhere around here. Let's see, D&D. Where are those? I have like the PDF of it. And I just can't remember the name of it. And I don't know where, I don't use my PDFs a whole lot. Where are these things? D&D. Where are my PDFs? Dude, where are they? Hold on a second. I'm trying to find the name of this book for you. I just don't reference this location very often. Okay. Users? Where are my stupid documents? I have a problem. Yeah, I don't know. Ed, you know. Ed, what is the name of the 2nd edition resource? There are 2 of them. One of them talks about the 9 hells, and one of them talks about the abyss. They made 2 of these resources for 2nd edition, and I can't remember the names of them. And I don't know where I can't find the file right now to give the exact title. But Ed Robinson knows. I know you know. There's a really good one. Yeah, Descent into Avernus yeah, I need more coffee. Descent into Avernus, yeah, I'm pretty sure, oh no, 3.5. It might have been for 3.5. Yeah, I think it was actually 3.5. But there were distinctly 2 books. One was for, yes, the Fiendish Codex, that's one of them. And then there were 2 of them. One was focused on the Abyss, and then one was focused on the 9 hells. It wasn't for Planescape. I think this was specifically for D&D. But yeah, the Fiendish Codex sounds about right. That might be the one I'm thinking about. Yeah. Mordenkainen's does have some information about the 9 hells and the Abyss. That's true. Yeah. You could definitely take a look at Mordenkainen's. That would help you. Yeah, that's a good call. Good call. Thank you, Zachary, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Just love dogs. I have a dog. Tyrants of the 9 hells. Yeah. There it is. Hordes of the Abyss. That was one of them. I'm pretty sure Hordes of the Abyss was one of those books. And that's about the Abyss. And there's another one that... Yeah, no, it might be Fiendish Codex 1 and then Fiendish Codex 2. That might be actually what it was. I think it was a Fiendish Codex 1 and then Fiendish Codex 2. I think that's actually it. I think the bottom line here, guys, is that Luke doesn't really know. Grim Goblin has some good ideas. Fiendish Codex 1, Tyrants of the 9 hells, and then Fiendish Codex 2, Hordes of the Abyss. That sounds about right. I would try to find those. Yeah. Super Goose, you can just ask a question. Just type in #question all caps and then put your question in and it goes into a spreadsheet. I mean, if you super chat, your questions get priority, and members get priority as well with their questions. Matthew says, "What's up, fools?" Man, you just called me a fool. It's not nice. That's so not nice. After the stream, I'm gonna go cry now. I'm gonna have to talk to my shrink. Just called a fool on stream in front of everybody. My gosh. We're out of coffee. We are officially out of coffee. It's gone. Thank you for the coffee alert, moderators. I appreciate that. All right. I think it's time to do a cat strike. It's time to give my kitty cats treats and watch them eat it, because that's really fun. But first, a message from our sponsors. This content is brought to you by Lair Magazine. Are you a busy dungeon master without enough time to create content for your D&D game? Would you like professional, pre-made 5th edition adventures and other resources you can drag and drop into your existing campaign? If so, Lair Magazine has exactly what you need. Every issue of Lair Magazine comes with 2 5th edition adventures, maps designed for use on virtual tabletops, and other dungeon master resources. New monsters, puzzles, traps, magic items, NPCs, pre-made encounters, and more. Become a DM Lair patron today to get a new issue of Lair Magazine every month, along with loads of bonus content, such as additional 5th edition adventures and map packs with even more digital maps. DM Lair patrons also get extra perks, such as playing in D&D games with me, voting on the videos I make, access to my VIP Discord channel, a monthly video hangout over Zoom, and more. Click that link below to learn more and become a DM Lair patron today. All right, there we go. There's one big, long, sleazy plug for Lair Magazine, which, by the way, DM Lair patrons get every single month. We just had an issue of Lair Magazine come out, and that was, I think the one that just came out is the one that we had our newly released Insanity system. And we also had an adventure arc called The Madness of the Deep, featuring aboliths and abolith spawn and abolith variants that I think Ed Robinson created those. Maybe Dave, maybe Owen helped with those as well. I don't know, I get everybody confused. But anyway, we released a lot of cool stuff. Insanity system, an entire adventure arc featuring aboliths, very, very cool. So lots of cool stuff. If you want to check out Lair Magazine, my patrons get it every month. There's a link right there. They also get cool crap. They get to play D&D with me. Lots of other fun stuff. So if you want to become a patron, there are links all over the place. And now we're going to give my kitties treats. You just got to shake this a little bit. Oh, here we go. I got some more coming from upstairs. Little girl. Oh, we got little girl down here today. We're getting low too. I need to get more. We're so getting low. We're getting low. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right, will you calm down? Jeez, psycho. All right, I'm gonna get some more coffee. I'll be back. My cats are fighting. Baby. My word. This is gonna take them forever. Like, I gave them way too much. Usually I have more cats down here. This is gonna take him forever to eat this. His belly's gonna get bigger. It's not good. I should have given them less. All right. Oh, there's who's that? Squirty. Squirty, get over here and help. I don't know why Squirty's just sitting over there off camera. She needs to come over here and help. Crazy. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep doing this. Summon more kitties. I mean, I shook the container. I did everything within my power to get more cats down here. They just are ignoring me. Luke, what are your predictions for the next evolution of D&D? Will we get a 6th edition in 2024? All right, the next evolution. Yeah, let's talk about this. Are we gonna get a new edition? All right, well, let's talk about what we actually know. And here's the thing, they did this like little teaser announcement, this little tiny clip where they talked very vaguely about this next evolution of D&D, and they didn't give us a whole lot of information. Maybe they were just playing it up a little bit. Maybe they were counting on people wildly speculating, creating hype and buzz so that we would get all like, woo, what's gonna happen in 2 years? What are we gonna get? And get all excited about it. I don't know, but they did a very good job of it because everybody seems to be like, whoa, what's gonna happen? So let's talk about what we actually know from their little announcement that they did. They did that announcement like, I don't know, it's like a month or two ago. It's been a while since they did that. The first thing I'll say is that we don't know a whole lot. We know very, very little. So we're going to be speculating a lot is what we're going to be doing here, just like everybody else on the internet. We know that the next evolution is coming in 2024. Check. We know that WotC, which is the Coast, is going to release a new set of core rulebooks. That means the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, and the Dungeon Master Guide. At least that would be my assumption of what a core set of rulebooks would be for D&D. And next we know that digital tools are in the works. Now, this of course begs the question, what they mean by digital tools. And that has led some people to speculate that perhaps, just perhaps, they're going to be replacing D&D Beyond with their own digital tool. And that has led folks on a little bit of speculation on the Rebel, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit because that would probably make some people upset if they actually do that. Let's just save that for a little bit later. All right, so the first question, the obvious first question, are we going to get a 6th edition? So historically, when have we gotten new editions? If you look at the originals, 2nd edition, 3.5, 4th edition, when do we normally get new editions? When the current edition is getting stale and sales are going down. That's usually when you see us getting another edition. Now, there's also been like a cadence, it seems like, for getting new editions as well. And 4th edition was kind of an outlier. They ushered in a new edition pretty quickly after 4th edition because, well, you know, obvious reasons and stuff like that. So in 5th edition, is it getting stale? Are sales going down? No. 5th edition is wildly popular. It's more popular than it ever was. The popularity continues to increase. Sales continue to go up. I was looking at statistics on sales data. 2020, sales were up 33%. It was one of their best years ever, Wizards of the Coast. D&D sales, not like Magic the Gathering and D&D, just D&D sales were up 33%. 2017, 2019 were some other data that I could see. Sales were really good too. So sales are up, new players are coming on, 5th edition is super popular. It's being used by Critical Role and other popular D&D shows. So we're not getting tired of 5th edition. People aren't starting to abandon it. We're not getting bored of it. Sales are not going down. So it wouldn't make sense, because you're doing very well with something, to introduce a new edition. I don't think it would make any sense at all. So that's one thing that would preclude you from making a new edition, because you're making lots of money. Why would you make a new edition? Let's wait until the popularity goes down, and then it makes more sense to put a new edition in there when people are starting to get bored, when they're looking for something new. The other thing I want to say is that if you were to release a 6th edition when you had tons of people who were loving 5th edition, then what you're going to have is you're going to have a split. You're going to be trying to push 6th edition. Some people are going to hop over, but a lot of people are going to be like, no, 5th edition is amazing. We love this. We're going to keep on playing this. And then you're going to have a problem marketing and selling your 6th edition. And that would be a problem for them as well. So I don't know that you're going to see people jumping ship if they put out a 6th edition, jumping ship from 5e to 6e. Not right now. The climate isn't right for it. Now, in the case of something like 4th edition, if you had 4th edition, right, where it wasn't well received, generally speaking, and people kept on playing 3.5, in fact, the failure of 4th edition led to the rise of Paizo and their amazingly successful Pathfinder game. So when you have something like that kind of doesn't do so well, that's when you introduce a new edition. That's when you want to say, okay, look, this isn't working. Let's give people a new edition. And we don't see that happening for 5th edition. So I don't think that we're going to see a 6th edition. That would be basically Wizards, in my opinion, would be shooting themselves in the foot to give us a 6th edition. So, and the other thing they announced as well with the next evolution is that the next evolution is going to be backwards compatible with 5.5, with 5th edition, which leads us to believe, of course, that it's not going to be a 6th edition, because a 6th edition wouldn't be backwards compatible with a 5th edition, would it? But a 5.5 would most likely be backwards compatible with a 5th edition. So evidence would lead us to believe that we're not going to see a 6th edition. We're going to see a 5.5. So the next logical question then, of course, is, well, what is going to be in the 5.5? And this is when we're going to start speculating. So the first thing that I think you're going to see, based upon the current trend and what they're doing, is you're going to see a more sanitized game. There can be no doubt about this. They're already going back and reworking entire modules such as Curse of Strahd to remove content that might be offensive that was written, and now they're like, you know, we should have done that because reasons, right? And so they're already going back and reworking things. And so I think you can expect them to give that same sort of treatment to the core rulebooks. If there's anything in the Player Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide, Monster Manual that might be offensive, or they think that they should rework in order to sanitize things more, I think you're definitely going to see that. So you'll see that going through the core rulebooks. And we're talking about the Player Handbook, the Monster Manual, and the Dungeon Master Guide. Definitely, I think you're going to see more of that, because that's their current trend. That's what they're doing in a lot of their products. The second thing that you're going to see, and this is, now we're kind of talking about a couple things that are going to probably change in the Player's Handbook, is that the ability score increases that are based on races will be gone. That'll be a thing of the past. You're almost assuredly in 5.5 going to have what we have in Tasha's now, where when you get an ability score increase, as a dwarf, you get 2 ability score increases. You know, and you can, supposedly, if you're a mountain dwarf, you get +2 strength and +2 con. In 5.5, I assure you that it won't be like that. You will be able to put those 2 points and 2 points anywhere you want. They can go to dexterity, they can go to charisma if you want. I think you're definitely going to see that. You're no longer going to have races that have their bonuses set where they're going to go. That will definitely be a thing. And their stated reason for doing this is to give players more options, more flexibility, so that you can play the character that you want to play. And as a player, I like that. I love that idea, because when I create characters, when I'm playing in a game, I'm a filthy min-maxer. I am. And so if I'm creating a fighter, you better well believe that I'm looking at the races that have bonuses to their strength and to their constitution. For instance, a mountain dwarf is a wonderful fighter because they get a +2 strength and a +2 constitution. I love that. I'm almost always going to play a barbarian or a fighter who's a mountain dwarf. Why wouldn't I? And so as a player, it actually is a cool thing that I can play a halfling or an elf or whatever and put those bonuses wherever I want to put them. And so I can play the character that I really want to play, say, for flavor purposes or whatever it happens to be. And I don't have to worry too much about where those bonuses are going to be. So I don't mind that as a player. Now, that begs the question, of course, is that Wizards' real reason for making those changes? I'm not sure that it is. I don't think it is. I think purposes are probably more toward sanitizing the game than actually allowing for more freedom. Those are my personal thoughts on it. And I think the reason is that you can get yourself in trouble easily when you have a race that gets bonuses in certain areas, and then people correlate that race to real world races. You get yourself into hot water fast. For instance, let's just pick on the orcs. Orcs traditionally get a plus to their strength, and they don't get a negative to their intelligence, but they're usually portrayed as not very intelligent races. The orcs, they're very strong, but not very intelligent. And if you were to take the orc, and let's pretend that there's a segment of people that correlate and say that the orc actually represents a real world people group, then you can see how there could be some hot water they'd be landing themselves in, because people are drawing out implications, things that they think are implied. Then they're taking things in the fantasy game and they're applying it to real life, and then you can land in places where people are upset with you. And so I think that they are going to, one of the reasons they're going to get rid of the whole different races get different ability score increases is to basically cover their butts. I think it's a cover your butt move in a lot of ways, so that they don't have certain folks getting upset about that. And so I think that's a large part of the reason. Now, the stated reason is to give players more flexibility, and I support that. I think that's wonderful. I love the flexibility of it. So I think that that's a good change, that you're definitely going to see that in 5th edition, 5.5, let us say. I think the other thing you're going to see as well is you're definitely going to get a reworking of the core classes. Wizard, Rogue, Ranger, Barbarian, Fighter, all of the core classes that you see in the player handbook are going to get reworked. Now, my hope is that they rework the core classes so that they get a boost in power to be on par with the new options that are in Tasha's and the other splat books that are coming out that are making the character options more and more powerful. So my hope is that the core classes will get that boost as well, to put everything on an even playing field. That would be my hope. And hopefully they'll get it right too, because the first Ranger was just not very good. We all know that. The second thing I think you're going to see is you're going to see subclasses that could be used with multiple classes. So for instance, we saw this in the Unearthed Arcana, Mages of Strixhaven. They basically had subclasses. I don't remember the exact names, but there was a subclass, for instance, that could be used with a bard, a wizard, or a sorcerer. And the subclass wasn't specifically only for wizards or only for bards. I think you're definitely going to see that. And that's going to give you more flexibility, more player options, different things you can choose, which I think sounds pretty cool. I like that idea. The trick is going to be balancing it properly, because the thing is, the more options and the more choices and the more builds you can possibly make, that's when balancing the game gets even more complex. And that's why as more and more splat books gets released, the game becomes more and more unbalanced. It's just the way things go. So you're definitely going to get fluid ability score increases and fluid subclasses, and you're going to get more character options. definitely you're going to see that in 5.5. Balance kind of is an illusion, Colonel. It's just totally... Okay, changes to the Dungeon Master Guide. Changes to the Dungeon Master Guide. You're almost assuredly going to see things from Xanathar's and Tasha's getting pulled in to the Dungeon Master Guide. They're all, they just want to like the sidekick rules, some of the rule clarifications in Xanathar's, maybe the rules on tool proficiencies. That stuff is probably going to get pulled into the Dungeon Master Guide. We're seeing this with the Mordenkainen's Masters of the Multiverse that's coming out, how they're taking existing products and putting it into the new book. And I think you're probably going to see more of the same with the Dungeon Master Guide. It makes sense to me to put all of those essentially Dungeon Master rules into one resource. So I think we're definitely going to see that. The Monster Manual. You're going to get an update to all of the monsters in a couple different ways. They're going to get rid of alignment. Alignment will come out of the stat blocks. That's the first thing. They're going to put proficiency bonuses in the stat blocks, make it a little bit easier for you to know what the proficiency bonus is. And you're going to get a reworking of how spells work, similar to the way they're doing it in the He-Man Master of the Universe book that they have coming out. So you'll definitely get those changes. Next. I hope and pray that they adjust the challenge rating. The challenge rating of the monsters in the Monster Manual for two reasons. One, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the monsters in Volos and Mordenkainen's, pound for pound challenge rating compared to the challenge rating for older monsters in the Monster Manual, the newer monsters are more powerful, no doubt about it. So I'm hoping that the ones in the Monster Manual are going to get a new look at their challenge rating to bring everything kind of on par. And this is going to help us. This is going to help us with dealing with the new, more powerful character options that we have and the reworking of the classes, which is probably going to make them more powerful as well. So I really hope they're going to do that. I would love to see new monsters, but you're not going to see that. So just erase that out of your mind and out of your thoughts. You're not going to see new monsters with their new next evolution, at least not the core rulebook. You won't see that. So that's basically that is the rework that I envision for the player handbook, the Dungeon Master Guide, and the Monster Manual. You're not going to see any new content. New content is not something on the horizon for that. You might see a little tiny bit of it in the player handbook with the new subclass options and stuff, but there's not going to be a whole lot of new content. It's just a reworking of the rule set. That's just the way it's going to go with that. I almost guarantee you. D&D 5e next. Yeah. Okay, so the biggest question, I think, and this is the question that perhaps some people are getting a little worked up about or anxious about or wondering, is when they said that there are going to be new digital tools, does Wizards intend to replace D&D Beyond? Or do they intend to, for instance, create their own online system and either shut down D&D Beyond, pull the licensing, or just splinter it and do their own thing with 5.5? That's the question. What's going to happen with D&D Beyond when they say new digital tools? Well, historically, Wizards already tried once to make online tools with 4th edition. Supposedly there was going to be, I think, what were they going to do with 4th edition? It was actually going to be a virtual tabletop or some sort of thing for 4th edition, so you could literally play online. And that rather failed, but my guess is that probably failed because 4th edition kind of failed and there was a lot less interest in it and fewer people subbing to it and supporting it, and so they torpedoed the whole project. That would be my guess. So they already tried to do that and they didn't do it. They didn't do it successfully. It failed. And so they were like, okay, let's not do it ourselves this time for 5th edition. Let's contract the work out to a different company, the company that does D&D Beyond. And let's have them do it. And guess what? They did it pretty well. And it's a fairly good product. So are they going to try to do their own? The problem with doing their own, if they want to, you know, tank D&D Beyond and have their own online tool where they're not subcontracting, and then presumably they're making more profit, you'd imagine, is the outcry. There would be so many crazy people up in arms. Not crazy people, they would probably be justified. The thing is that people already complain enough that this is the standard argument against D&D Beyond. Luke, I already got to buy the physical books, and now I have to go out and buy them again a second time on D&D Beyond. It's not fair. I can understand the sentiment. You're not literally buying the books again. You're buying an online tool that makes it easier for you to run games online, or helps with ease of reference and stuff, or with character building, or with just finding the monsters quickly, or facilitating online role-playing games on like Roll20 and stuff easier. So you're not actually buying the books a second time. But that's not the point. The point is that people are upset about the fact that they had to buy the D&D books, the physical books, and then they had to buy stuff on D&D Beyond. If they were upset about that, can you imagine how upset they would be if D&D Beyond got shut down? And Wizards is like, you know, I know you bought the books for 5th edition. I know you had all of the content on D&D Beyond. I know you spent hundreds of dollars on that. But you know what? We have a new online platform where you can play 5.5. Well, yeah, you have to buy the content there. You don't just get it for free. It's not free. You'd have to buy it, right? It costs money, web servers and web development and stuff. You have to buy it a second time. And then people are like, well, I bought the books. I bought D&D Beyond stuff. And now you shut that down. And now you're telling me I have to buy it all over a third time on your new digital tool that you're creating? I think people would not be happy about that. So my gut tells me that Wizard isn't dumb enough to do that. Now, I don't know, they've done dumb things before, so maybe they would, but I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're smarter than that. So I don't think they're gonna shut that down. I don't think the D&D Beyond is going away. So then the question is, of course, well, then what are the new digital tools? I don't know. They might have been simply talking about an expansion to D&D Beyond. My hope for a long time has been that D&D Beyond gets its own virtual tabletop integrated into it, so that I don't have to use Roll20 anymore, or you don't have to use whatever it is you use. You could just simply use D&D Beyond, and hopefully it would be a good tabletop. And we could just, everything is in D&D Beyond. It's all in one place, and I don't have to goof around with like extensions that take D&D Beyond stuff and put it in Roll20. I could just simply play in one place. Hopefully it'll be modernized, have a good user interface, and work well. Dynamic lighting that doesn't bog down your whole system. You know, things like that would be really cool. That would be a fairly good quality of life improvement, I think. So maybe they were talking about that. I don't know. I hope that's the direction they're going. Maybe that's all they were talking about. Who knows? Maybe it's tools to make the DM's job easier. Maybe something like a monster builder in D&D Beyond or somewhere else that would actually help you. It should be in D&D Beyond. They would help you make your own homebrew monsters pretty easily, calculate CRs and all this kind of stuff, and put it in there. I don't know. Maybe they already have that. Maybe I'm just clueless. I don't know. But it could have been any of this stuff. But I don't think they're shutting down D&D Beyond. I don't think they're getting rid of that. That's my thoughts on that. And you know, that's pretty much all we go. We don't know a whole lot, and so that's just my wild speculation about what 5.5 is going to contain. So there you go. My thoughts. Oh, D&D Beyond already has homebrew monster making? Well, there you go. See, I don't know anything. Oh, they have it, but it won't calculate the CR for you? Yeah, that's the thing. That's the hard part. That is the absolute hardest part of creating a monster. It doesn't calculate the CR for you. All right. I wasn't aware of the monster creator. I don't do that stuff in D&D Beyond. Ooh, Ed says that they just hired 2 top executives out of the video game industry. So I think they're leaning hard into a VTT. Oh, cool. That's what I want. I want a good VTT that integrates with D&D Beyond, that makes my life easier. I would love that. That would be beautiful. All right, Ed, thank you for the $20 tip, dude. I appreciate that. That money goes directly to the Capital Area Humane Society, helping out dogs and cats. Do appreciate that. We are trying to raise money for the Capital Area Humane Society. All tips go directly to them if you feel so inclined. Link below in the comments, or not comments. Yeah, chat. That's how you say it. Right. Let's go get some stuff. Have you tried the new release of Ravenloft for 5e? Nope, I have the first one, and there's no reason to buy the second one if you already have the first one, in my opinion. It's pretty much the exact same content, except that they changed a couple things here and there. No reason to rebuy it. Pedro, thank you for the super chat, dude. I appreciate that. Have you ever DM'd or played Star Wars FFG? No, I haven't. Neither of them. I wasn't even aware of that game. I mean, I know Star Wars. I know there's Star Wars games, but I'm not even sure what that is. Do you have any tips for running a Clone Wars campaign? Not really. I like Star Wars. My advice for running that campaign would be to immerse yourself in the lore, the information that exists about the Clone Wars, and then come up with what you believe would be an interesting campaign pitch, an interesting idea to run that campaign on. I would probably trend toward running a game in the Clone Wars that focuses on the Clone Wars happening in the background and around you, but there's something else going on that the players need to be involved in. I don't know that I would directly involve, maybe you could directly involve them in the Clone Wars themselves, but you might use it as a backdrop and then have other things going on that the players are doing, and then occasionally they run into elements of the Clone Wars happening. So I would probably try to do something like that. I don't have specifics for you. I would, again, immerse yourself in the lore and the information around it and develop your own specifics that are unique to your personal interests and what you think your players would enjoy playing, and then craft a campaign around that. All right, Derek asks, I have been DMing for years, but I have become unsatisfied with my homebrews, thinking they could be better and are not as fun. What is the best way to combat this DMing? So you don't think your homebrews are as fun as they could be. So I would suggest there are two things that you would do. First of all, sometimes our perceptions don't align with reality. Just because you feel your homebrews aren't as fun or as interesting as they used to be or that they could be, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's true. They could be just perfectly fine. The way to find the answer to that is probably to talk to your players. If your players are having fun and they still feel that your homebrews are fresh and interesting and amazing, well, then their perception is going to trump your perception of them being boring and dull. So I think that's one thing that I would consider. But if you do feel that your homebrews are getting boring and dull and things like that, then it's time to get out of your own head of creativity and to look at other things. Read other modules. Read the modules that Wizards produces. Read the things that I produce. I have Into the Fae. We have Lair magazine that has adventures in it as well. Read books. Think of movies. One of the things, I played this video game for years called Dungeons and Dragons Online, and it had adventures in it that are pretty cool. And so sometimes when I would get into a rut on creating some sort of homebrew, I would think about that video game, and I'd be like, well, what are some of the things that happened in that video game that I thought were really, really cool? Ooh, there was this one adventure. Oh, I liked that. Ooh, that was really cool. And then I would steal elements from that. My point that I'm driving at is that if you're feeling that your homebrew and your own adventures are getting boring and dull and maybe not as good as they could be, what you use to create those adventures is the creativity in your brain. Like you have to draw on something to create those. It could be that you're just running dry. You need to branch out and look in other places to reinvigorate the ideas that you have in your own head, to get new ideas and fresh ideas and see different ways of doing things. And so my advice to you would be to read and expand, what you're looking at, so that you can steal ideas and get new ideas and get invigorated and have some freshness infused into you in your game and stuff like that. So that would be my advice to you. And it could be movies, it could be other modules, it could be books that you read, it could be being a player in different games, it could be trying new game systems. If you've always been playing D&D, try Star Wars, try Star Trek, try Call of Cthulhu, try other things that are going to give you different perspectives and different experiences and different things that you can draw on that can help inspire your own creativity. So that would be my advice to you if you feel like your homebrews are getting dull and boring. And try creating different types of homebrews. Try running mystery, try running horror. There are different types of horror too, like the Ravenloft book, Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, or whatever it is. It talks about all the different types of horror, body horror, and there's just tons of different types of horror. Maybe try those things, yeah. So there's a bunch of different things you can try to do to get some freshness into your game and get some new ideas and new creativity and get the juices flowing to make things more exciting. What? I saw something about a dolphin. Where was that? I saw something in the chat about a dolphin. Oh! Yes, the new Morning Canaan's book, the He-Man's Masters of the Universe book, it gives you one new monster. And it's a dolphin? It's a dolphin, really? Oh my gosh. The new monster is a dolphin. Is it at least Flipper? It'll at least be Flipper. All right, where's that one? Well, I see a super chat there, but I don't see a super chat in the spreadsheet. So we're gonna wing it here. Malcolm Taylor, thank you for the 551 super chat. I appreciate that, dude. And Master Brewer 12, thank you for the $5 super chat. How do you roleplay ancient beings and gods with the players and integrating them without the players getting to ask them to do favors for them? Well, the players can ask. You just say no. Like I get people asking me all the time for things, I just say no. Like, just because somebody asks you to do something or asks you for a favor doesn't mean you say yes. You just say no. And the players will be like, why not? It's like, dude, I don't have to justify myself to mortals. Are you kidding me? Boom, I'm gone. Yeah, yeah. So they can say no. Deities can say no. They say no all the time in games. It's like, oh, can you just go defeat this big bad for us? No. Are you my faithful followers? No, but we could be. Yeah, no, I'm not helping you. Are you my faithful followers? Yes, we are. Excellent, because I have imbued you with special abilities, the spells that I grant you, and the faith and convictions to go confront those villains using what I've already given you. Now get to it. Stop making excuses. So there are different ways you can roleplay that out. Essentially what you should do, I think, is that if you're planning on having your players directly encounter divine beings, is you need to play these out. You need to have their reasons. You need to have their justifications already. If you expect your players to ask favors of them, to do the job for them, then you need to have some reasons already made up. It's the same thing when adventurers, well, sometimes this will happen in your games where you're like, here's a quest, and your players are like, okay, let's go to the town guard and see if they can help us. And then they go to the town guard and like, there's this problem out here. Could you guys help with that? And then as a dungeon master, you're just like, well, it's a great question. Why doesn't the town guard help with that? Why doesn't the town guard go and do that thing instead of having the adventurers go do that thing? What in-game reason do I have for the town guard not to go do that thing and do the adventure for them? And so you run into that. I still have all of this cat food, these cat treats. My cats did not eat all of their treats. Wow. So you can have little reasons set up. Well, the town guard is too busy. You know, they have lots of other things going on. They can't go do that thing. Well, you know, the town guard is composed of like militia, essentially. They're not actually that strong, most of them. And we're talking about monsters and things, and town guards, they don't want to die. And so they subcontract that work out to adventuring groups like you. If you're not interested in going and doing that thing, that's okay. We can subcontract that out to a different adventuring group, and you guys don't have to do it. So you come up with reasons. You come prepared. You can also simply do something like this. Got like crap in my throat. If your players go to the town guard and are like, hey, could you go do this adventure for us or give us help? Or if your players are like, you know, they encounter the deity before them and they're like, hey, there's this really bad guy over there doing lots of horrible things. Can you just go smite him? As the dungeon master, you can simply talk to your players and say, hey guys, this is a game. Do you want to play the game? Because I could just have the town guard go do that adventure for you, and then you don't have to do it. I could have the deity go over there and smite the bad guy, and then you don't have to do it. But if we do that, you guys won't have a game to play. And we came here for nothing. So my question to you, players, is do you want to play this game? If you do, then there's an adventure over there for you to go do. And to have fun and fight things and get magic items and loot and gain experience and get more levels and stuff and get more powerful. If you do want to play the game, there is a big bad over there who you can go fight and defeat and get magic items and level up and get more powers and stuff if you want to play the game. If you don't want to play the game, that's fine. The guard will go take care of it. The deity will go smite the big bad guy. And then we're going to have to find a different game to play. Assuming you want to play a different game, but you just let me know, players, to Dungeon Master, if you want to play the game or not, because I thought that's what we were here for. It's also perfectly fine to ask your players that out of character, as opposed to coming up with justification after justification of why the guards aren't going to help with that, or why the deity isn't going to do X, Y, and Z favor. It's okay to just simply have these pure metagame out of character conversation with your players and what you're explaining, like, why does the deity just give us all of these super magic items? They're so powerful. It's like, guys, this is a game too. Like, we can't just do that. It doesn't work that way. So it's fine to have those conversations, and players usually will understand that. You know, sometimes players will ask for those things knowing that you're probably going to say no and that you should say no, but they just want to see what you do. I do this all the time. I'm in a game right now with Goliath Cleric, and sometimes I will intentionally do things or ask for things, and I know the answer should be no. I want to see what they're gonna say. What is the DM gonna say? Is the DM gonna say no to me? He should. Let's see if they do or not. You know, so sometimes players will also just kind of probe and see what they can get away with and see where the boundaries are. So be aware, that's just human behavior. Pellic says, poor Zack. All right. Oh, look at that. I think the spreadsheet's getting behind or something. There was a super chat that didn't even show up on there. Oh, there. Okay. I see it now. As a DM, when should I stick to my original plan and when kill my darlings? That is, making some of the things Big Bad has done actions of a different baddie. I don't think, I'm not I don't exactly understand your question, but you don't. Now Squeaky's gonna eat some more food. There's no steadfast rule of when you should stick to your plan and when you should change things and when you should improvise. I think the only determination really is your gut and what you want to do, what you think would be better, what you think would be cooler, what you think your players would enjoy more. So a lot of times I'll plan something out and then I'll change it either on the fly or after blah blah blah, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll change it because I think something else would be better. And there's no real determination. It's just what I want to do, how I want to change my game and run my game. Just because I plan a thing a certain way doesn't mean that that's the way it has to be. I can change it whenever I want to. There's nothing preventing me from doing that. And I don't think there's any guidelines really about when to do that. I do like to make sure that it's not obvious to my players that I'm changing something. I want my players to get the feeling that the world is the world. It's always been that way. It always will be that way. If X thing happened, that's because X thing was always going to happen. There is nobody behind the curtain manipulating things. It's just the world. I want them to believe in that. I want them to be immersed in that. And so I want to make the manipulations behind the curtain as less obvious, the least amount obvious as possible. I don't want my players to see that. And so I won't change plans if I think my players will detect it, you know? So I think that's important. That's just the verisimilitude. That's just the immersion factor. And so I don't want to break that. So I would say that as long as you're changing things and it's not compromising that, you should be fine, because you don't want your players to see the wizard behind the curtain, if at all possible. Ed always makes interesting choices in our game. He does. I love players that do that. Oh, there's a member question? Okay, I'll get to that in a second. But as a dungeon master, I love the players who make interesting decisions. Players who do things that aren't necessarily the smartest thing to do, but it results in something fun, something interesting. Those are some of the best players. The players who are super hesitant and tentative and don't really want to do anything and are just like, I don't know if we should open that door or not. I don't know. Let's just close that door and move on. Those are the players where it's like, guys, just let's open the door. Let's see what's back there. Let's have some fun. All right, let's see if I can find the member question. I don't see the flag for the member question. Yeah, I don't see that flag. After a player's death, they want to rejoin the group. Do you bring them back at level 1? No. Or an advanced level? Not advanced, no. Or keep them up with the surviving players. You bring them back at the exact same level. And this is obviously, not everybody does this the same way. This is just the way I do it. But I absolutely bring them back at the exact same level that they died at. I'm not trying to punish them for dying. You know, I just don't care about that. We've been playing the game for 2 years. They got the level 8 or 12 or whatever. If they die, they come back at level 12. Roll up a new character. Let's keep on playing. I don't want to mess with the whole, well, you're level 1 now and you gotta get caught up to speed on everything and stuff. It's like, I'm not playing that game. You're gonna start out 2 levels behind or something, and then the other player's got to babysit them because they're squishy and they can't contribute. You know, yeah, I just don't, that's not fun to me. So they start at the exact same level, game keeps going. How can I help my players be less scared of making decisions? They are so afraid of wrong decisions or angering a foe too powerful that they would rather not do anything than try it all. I think this is probably time for like an out of character discussion with your players. Like, if that's what's happening and they're afraid of doing anything in the game because it's something that's going to be too powerful and they can't take it yet, they're too low level. I had to have that sort of conversation with my youngling group at one time too. And the conversation essentially goes like this. Hello, this is a game. It is a curated game experience. Because it is a game, when you are level 1, the adventures and foes that you encounter will usually be level appropriate, meaning that your chances of succeeding against those adventures and foes are pretty high. As long as you don't do something incredibly dumb, such as try to sneak through the dungeon and then fail and then bring the whole dungeon down upon you, or try to convince the guards to take you to the bad guys in the dungeon and succeed, and then the guards accompany you to the bad guys in the dungeon, and then you get into a fight and the fight is much bigger than you thought it was going to be. As long as you don't do things that are foolish, that are bad decisions, that are quite obviously wouldn't work in real life, as long as you use your brains, most things are level appropriate. Why? Because this is a game. When you are level 5, most of the things you encounter are going to be appropriate for level 5. So you don't have to worry too much about whether something is going to just squash you in one attack. Usually. Now, occasionally, you will run across things in the game world that are probably too powerful for you. When that happens, there will usually be indicators that I will give you via flavor text and descriptions in the game that will be clues to you that something might be too much for you. Pay attention to those clues. If you see them, you might want to try diplomacy or stealth or another option to get by that thing that might be too powerful for you. But overall, the message is this: this is a game. It is a curated game experience for the most part. So you don't need to be terrified of every single thing that lies around the corner. Most of the encounters are designed for you to beat them. That is the way the game is made. That is the way it is designed. So don't be so terrified. Don't be so freaked out. Because here's what happens too. When you are too terrified to do anything in the game, it results in us not playing the game. And when you have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome game and you're not playing it, it begs the question, why do you have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome game if you're not going to play it? And if you're not playing that wonderful, beautiful, awesome game, are you having fun? Probably not. But if you set aside your fear and worry because you recognize that it is a curated game experience and you're probably going to win because it is a game, then you're going to play that wonderful, awesome, beautiful game, and you're going to have fun, presumably, as you play that wonderful, awesome, beautiful game. So, dear players, don't worry. I am your dungeon master. My goal is to deliver a game and run a game where everybody has the opportunity to have fun. I don't have it in against you. I am not out to get you. I am not trying to squash your precious PCs. That is not my goal. My goal is to run a wonderful, beautiful, fun game that we can all enjoy, that you probably are going to be successful at as long as you don't do very, very foolish things most of the time, so don't worry about it. And then we can play and enjoy and have fun as we play this game. So I think that is the out of character conversation that I would have very directly with my players. And if you want to tag this part of the video and just play it directly to them, do that too. Thank you. Uh-oh. That. We're out of coffee. The bean juice has run out. Master Brewer says, if we sub to your Patreon, do we also get live stream priority? No. Is that just a YouTube member thing? Yes. If you become a patron, you get tons of 5th edition resources. You get Lair magazine, you get one-shot adventures we create, you get to play D&D with me, you get lots of perks as a DM Lair patron. Getting live stream question priority is something that YouTube members get. It's a special perk for that. So if you want that, then you can get that. If you want the 5th edition resources, you can get that. So you kind of got to take your pick and get the one that you think most fits what you want to do. You could get both if you want, and that's perfectly fine as well. But yeah, that's the way that works. Deceiver has his own bean juice. Well, thank you, Deceiver. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing better, by the way. I was reading the whole thing in the deputy channel, and I feel for you, buddy. I hope you get better. Master Brewer. Master Brewer! Thank you for becoming a member. He's like, okay, Luke, you convinced me. Appreciate that, dude. Oh, here we go. Now I see more stuff in the spreadsheet. For some reason, I'm like not seeing, either stuff is lagging or it's not going in the spreadsheet or something. I don't know. All right, here's a question from Maxim Sellen. Thank you. Do you think it would be a good idea for a stream to share figures that they've painted? Like, this is something I did. How do you like it? Is there anything you might consider to improve? Do you think, I'm not understanding the question. Do you think it would be a good idea for a stream to share figures that they've painted? Who? Whose stream and who's they've? I don't know. I don't think, if you want to get feedback on miniatures that you've painted, I don't think sharing them on a live stream is the way to get good feedback. I would probably, if I wanted feedback on the miniatures that I've painted, I would share them with my players and ask them maybe what they thought. I might share them with other dungeon masters that do miniature painting to see what they've thought. There might be, like, I might share it on, I don't know, Instagram or something, or I don't know. There might be some like miniature painting Facebook groups you could join where you could get feedback on your miniatures or something. That's a possibility too. I think there are lots of other places where you're going to get better feedback on your minis than sharing it on a live stream. And I might be horribly misunderstanding the question, and I'm sorry. What D&D creature would you want as a pet? I don't know, a big cat. A big cat. Error loading data. Why are you getting an error loading data? I'm gonna refresh the sheet. All right, let's go down here. All right. I'm a new DM and I have a very loud table that makes it a bit hard for me to talk sometimes. I want them to have fun, but I want to be able to move the game forward. Help, please. Yeah, this is... Hey! Hi. I'm your dungeon master. Could you guys stop talking for a second? I need you to listen to me. Thank you. I'm pretty soft-spoken. I don't really have a very loud voice or projecting voice. Or maybe I do, but here's the point. You guys are very loud and you talk really loud a lot all the time. And I have a hard time talking. And here's what happens. When the dungeon master has a hard time talking during their own game, they have a hard time running their own game. So we're going to have to implement some sort of thing whereby my players allow me to also talk during the game. Because if you guys are always talking and I never have the opportunity to talk, then that makes it really hard for me to run the game. So we need to figure something out. Whether we do something elementary like raising our hands to speak, or maybe you guys just recognize that if I can't talk, we can't play the game and we can't move things forward. Any way we slice it, we need to decide what we're going to implement so that I can actually talk at the game that I'm running. Otherwise, I can't run the game. Now, I want you guys to have fun. I want you to be able to laugh and talk and stuff, but we need to have a solution that allows me to run the game. Otherwise, I can't run the game. That's the conversation. And then you figure out what needs to happen, what needs to change. And honestly, sometimes simply stating that and saying that there is a problem that's preventing you from giving them the game, that a fun, enjoyable game, sometimes simply stating the problem, bringing awareness to it, Sometimes all you need to do, they might not even know that they're being too loud and talking all of the time is preventing you from running the game. They might be clueless. They might have no idea. And all they really need is for you to bring awareness to the problem so that they can be like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Didn't know that was happening. We can be better. Let's do this. Maybe that's all that it takes. Maybe you implement some sort of solution, but the beginning place is to talk with them and let them know that this is the problem. This is what's happening because of this problem, and I need your help to make this better. And then you figure it out. Look at this. It's like sad. This is why I have a coffee cam. Did I get any warnings about the coffee being low? Did I get any warnings whatsoever? Look at it. You can see the camera. It's right above it. It's great. It's called a reflection. Yeah. Did I get any sort of low coffee warning? Oh, I did. Oh my gosh, I did. My moderators did give me a low coffee warning. Wow, thank you. Thank you. My moderators are so wonderful and amazing. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. I'm a bad streamer person. All right. We're going to do these cats are not eating their treats. All right, I'm gonna give the treats to my dog. We're gonna see if my dog will eat the cat treats. We're gonna try that. We're gonna have my dog on stream and see if we can get him to eat the cat treats. But first, a message from our sponsor. This content is brought to you by Lair magazine. Are you a busy dungeon master without enough time to create content for your D&D game? Would you like professional, pre-made 5th edition adventures and other resources you can drag and drop into your existing campaign? If so, Lair magazine has exactly what you need. Every issue of Lair magazine comes with 2 5th edition adventures, maps designed for use on virtual tabletops, and other dungeon master resources. New monsters, puzzles, traps, magic items, NPCs, pre-made encounters, and more. Become a DM Lair patron today to get a new issue of Lair magazine every month, along with loads of bonus content, such as additional 5th edition adventures and map packs with even more digital maps. DM Lair patrons also get extra perks, such as playing in D&D games with me, voting on the videos I make, access to my VIP Discord channel, a monthly video hangout over Zoom, and more. Click that link below to learn more and become a DM Lair patron today. Okay, awesome. So that was just a shameless plug for Lair magazine. Lair magazine is something that my team and I publish every month for our patrons. So if you're interested in that, there's a link down below. It's super high quality. It's very, very cool resource. So, and now we're going to get my dog on stream. We're going to see if my dog will eat these cat treats. Hey, baby. Oh, look at the baby. Where's my baby? Oh, my baby. All right, here's the baby. Here's the baby. This is Zoe. She is a Chihuahua, if you couldn't tell. She has very big ears. We're gonna see if she'll eat these cat treats. All right, I got some food for you. Yeah, we got some food. Oh. You wanna eat those? Nope, I don't think she's doing it. Where are you going? Come over here. Come over here. Come here. Come over here. Yeah. Go back to bed. Go back to bed. Yeah, she's not gonna do it. She's totally not gonna do it. Where are you going? Come over here. Go back to bed. Lie down. I think she needs to go outside. All right, we're gonna give my cats catnip, and then I gotta take my dog outside. Stay right there. Squeaky. Come here, Squeaky. Yeah, she's gotta go to the bathroom. Here you go, Squeaky. Have fun. All right, I'm taking my dog outside. All right, outside. Oh, whoops. Hold on a second. I gotta change the camera. There we go. Go outside. Let's go outside. Yeah, let's go outside. Come on. Come here. Yeah. Outside time. Come to your bed. Come to your bed. Hey, you big doggy. Oh, yeah, doggy. All right, go to bed. Go to bed. For a treat. This is a good doggy. You're a good doggy. Oh, you're a good doggy. There we go. Oh yeah, she had to go to the bathroom. She had to go. Oh, I get more coffee. Oh. All right. Squeaky has abandoned the happy carrot. There we go. Little guy might go for it. Somebody said this right before I went out to take the dog out. And they were talking about coffee. They said coffee alerts aside, you have a great team, and I 100% agree with you. I love the team that I work with. It's amazing. They're so good at what they do. I love them. So yeah, that's totally awesome. All right, super chat. There's a super chat. Beautiful. Little guy's looking at the catnip now. All right, Darren, thank you for the $5 super chat, dude. I appreciate that. I'm a first-time DM this upcoming weekend for a one-shot, and I have 7 players. Any tips? That's a lot of players, dude. Your first time DMing, that's a lot of players. On the channel a couple days ago, I love the channel. Well, thank you. There's so many tips I could give you. So I think I have a video. I'm gonna send you a video because there's more information in a well done video than I can possibly give you. I have a video about running large games. It literally has a bunch of tips in it for running large games. Literally, that's the video's purpose of it. You can find it on my channel. The biggest thing I'll tell you about running large games is keeping things moving is the biggest challenge you're going to run into with running large games. You're going to have a couple things going on. First of all, combat. Combat is going to inherently be a little bit boggy because you have so many players doing things. And if you let them take too long on their turns to make up their minds what they're doing, combats will take forever. You got to keep things moving. You can't allow them to take more than a couple seconds to tell you what they're going to do. You can't. If you do, it's going to bog things down. Decision making. Again, moving the game along. You're going to find that they want to talk about things, and with 7 people discussing every single decision, man, this is why things die in committees. This is why things don't happen in big corporations with meetings with tons of people, talking about things and talking. You don't get decisions that way. You get lots of talking, and you get follow-up meetings, and you get no action whatsoever. So decision making is going to be a problem. So you might have to do things like, guys, we need to do something, make up a decision, maybe pick a group leader or something. But you got to have a mechanism by which you can get decisions made and the action can actually move forward. You might have to step in a little bit as the dungeon master. I've done this before in one-shots that I've ran that were large groups. If I had lots of people saying that we should go do X, Y, and do X, and then there's a couple people like, well, maybe we should do Z or something, and then there's some discussion, sometimes I'll just say, okay, guys, it sounds like most of you want to go do X. So the group starts heading over this way. Sometimes you just got to grab them and move things along. I don't like doing that. It's my preference not to, but what's better? To nudge them along in a direction that most of them want to go anyway, or to sit there for 20 minutes to an hour to 2 hours talking about what they want to do? I'd rather play the game. So those are a couple things to consider, and they both have to do with moving things along, moving the action along, allowing things to actually happen in the game. The more people, the slower things are going to be, and the more lack of action and lack of actually getting stuff done, you could say, is going to be an issue that you confront. So definitely will throw you at that video, though. There's probably lots of good crap in it. What are your thoughts on investing in a 3D printer to make minis versus buying them from various sources? I buy my miniatures. I am a big proponent of just buying the miniatures myself. Here's why. I can back a Reaper Bones Kickstarter, and for $100 I get like pretty much 100 minis, a crap ton of minis. That's $1 a mini. That's an amazing deal. And then they're going to give me that Kickstarter. I have one of them sitting over there right now. And then once they deliver it to me, they're going to have another Kickstarter that comes out, and I'll back it. 2 years later, I'll get the miniatures from that. I'm still painting the ones from the first Kickstarter, and so I can have a continual supply of miniatures coming, and it only costs me $100, got some shipping in there, $120 every 2 years. And I have more minis than I know what to do with. Or I could buy a 3D printer, and I could spend the time figuring out how it works and, you know, learning that technology and stuff like that. I personally don't have the time to goof around with that. I have enough money that I can just buy the miniatures that I want. And I don't even spend a lot of money on them, because if you're smart about it, you can get fairly cheap miniatures, pretty high quality, from things like Reaper Bones Kickstarters. So I prefer to buy my own miniatures. I know there are lots of people who love the 3D printing, and that's their preference. And part of it has to do with cost, because over the long term, you can probably save money. But I think a lot of the appeal of a 3D printer is just, it's fun. They like doing it. They like getting the blueprints and then making their own thing. And there are entire Patreons that exist that simply give you blueprints for your 3D printer. They find that to be fun and enjoyable. And they can customize and print exactly the things that they want for their games. And so there is a large appeal for 3D printers, you know, if that's what you want to do. But I don't think that there's not a right or wrong way to do it. It's really just your personal preference and what appeals most to you. I personally, I could easily afford to buy a 3D printer, but what I can't afford to do is spend the time learning how to do it and then doing it. I don't have time for that. I want to buy my miniatures pre-made, have them arrive here so that I can paint them. That's what I have time to do, and just barely, because I still have a hard time finding time to paint miniatures. So it's just all personal preference. How do you handle long distance travel? Usually have one encounter and then you arrive at your destination. Done. Isometric map for a DM. Your thoughts? I don't know what an isometric map is. That was my thought. I'm sorry. Luke, you're not educated enough. I know. Should D&D have an evasion class stat like Dungeon Coach's Homebrew? I don't even know what an evasion class stat is. I haven't seen that video, so I don't know. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's just call it what it is. The Dungeon Coach is insane. He's a madman. I don't know why you would follow his advice. You and I are friends, actually. So yeah, I like the Dungeon Coach. He's a good guy. I don't know if it should or it shouldn't have it, because I don't know what it is. We're just reveling in my ignorance right now of all of these things you guys are asking me about. Can you please make your dog in a DM Lair magazine, like a pet or monster that can be tamed, please? Jacob, I don't know. We'll do what we can. Zack, Penguin Butt, you know, you guys have some influence in the ways of Lair magazine. Maybe you can figure out a way to get a little pet chihuahua in there somewhere in a future adventure or something. What's Luke's favorite coffee? I love mixing chicory and espresso. I don't know. I drink a bunch of different flavors of it. My very favorite coffee is probably mint mocha. I really like mint mocha. I love mint. Actually, I might start drinking tea more on live streams because I've been drinking some mint green tea and wow, is it good. It's really good. So we might commit some sacrilege around here and drink tea on stream. And then people will tell me I'm making my tea wrong. Like, Luke, that's not how you make tea. I'm like, I'm not a tea. Just let me make my tea the way I make my tea. How would you deal with ungrateful players? Can we promote physical violence on stream? Penguin Butt, are we allowed to promote physical violence on stream? Can you let me know? Is that okay? Are we allowed to promote physical violence? Is that a thing? Is it okay? I have to check. She says no. Dang it. Okay. All right. So the question is, how would you deal with ungrateful players? We're not allowed to promote physical violence, so don't do that. I'm gonna finish your question. Late players not giving a heads up, complaining, ghosting. Makes me feel they don't value my work as a DM. Should I kick problem players? Well, you should absolutely kick problem players if it comes to that. But that's a very large general statement. I don't know, dude. So gosh. The thing with ungrateful players that are complaining about things, who are not showing up. What does ghosting mean? Is that when you say you're gonna show up and then you don't show up? What does ghosting mean? I feel like that's a young person terminology that old Luke doesn't understand. Clarification, what does ghosting mean? That's ghosting? Okay. Ghosting is when you just disappear without a word. Okay, cool. All right. The thing is that sort of behavior really steals your motivation to even be a dungeon master. Like when your players you don't feel like they appreciate what you're doing and they're ungrateful. It's like, why am I even being a dungeon master for you? Why am I doing anything for you? If you guys don't care about what I'm doing, like I should just quit, or I should find other players who will be grateful and will, appreciate what I'm doing for you. So there is that. The bigger question that comes to my mind though is, why are they not showing up? Why are they ghosting you? Why are they complaining? Because it's easy for us to just assume, well, they're bad players. They just complain about everything. Oh, they don't show up for things. They're ghosting me. Ah. Well, why though? Why? What's the reason for that behavior? Are they just bad players? Are they just bad people? Are they just disrespectful? Is that just their personality trait? Or is it the dungeon master? Is it something you might be doing? Right? Let's just not look at their behavior, but let's consider, am I doing something to cause this? They're complaining a lot. Well, how's my game? Am I doing things in my game that they don't like, that they might be justified in not liking? Could I improve as a dungeon master? It's really easy to blame other people and just point the finger, but I think that when you see something happening, it's always good to have a moment of introspection as well. Could I be responsible for this problem? Could I be the one that's causing them to not want to come to the game for X, Y, and Z reasons? They're not having fun. They're not enjoying it. Blah, 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 whatever. I'm stealing their agency from them. My games are boring or something. I don't know. I don't know. But Could I be the reason? Could I get better? Are there things that I could improve at? And you don't know, but you should ask yourself that question. You should wonder that. It's not just, are they bad players? Should I kick them out? Sometimes they are. Sometimes they are, and they should just be removed. Yes. But sometimes we need to get better as well. And the way to figure that out, one of the ways to figure that out is to talk to your players. Very, very candidly. Hey guys, I notice a lot of complaining. I notice a lot of ghosting and people not showing up. Is it something I'm doing? Like, is there something that I'm doing that's causing you guys not to enjoy the game? That's causing you guys not to be here? Because I want to run a fun game. I want people to enjoy the game. Is there something I could improve at? What could I get better at? Ask that honest question to them and try to get some feedback. And if they're complaining about things, the chances are they have some feedback for you. So pay attention, take notes. It doesn't mean you're going to implement all of their feedback, but you should pay attention. You should definitely pay attention and consider it with an open mind. Because at the end, and especially if you see a trend of this, because some dungeon masters, there's a trend. Some dungeon masters will be like, Luke, I don't know what's going on. Every time I start a game up, my players keep on leaving. Like my player, it doesn't matter. I'll run this game, they leave. I run a different game with different players, they leave. It doesn't matter. What is it? The world is full of bad players. Everybody leaves my games. Well, no. Maybe it's your games. Maybe it's not the players. Maybe it's somebody else that needs to run a more exciting, interesting game that will compel people to stay in your game. And so I think that's always something that's worth considering, is how are we doing as dungeon masters? How can we improve? As opposed to always pointing the fingers. Now, if you got bad players, you got bad players. I've kicked players out of games before. Absolutely, for a variety of different reasons. You know, there is a time and a place to kick players out. But there's also a time and a place to consider ourselves, and can we improve our games? Oh crap, I forgot to click the button on that. All right, here we go. Jacob, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. I did that one. Do you have any tips for a campaign based off a revolution? I want to slowly integrate it and eventually have them choose a side. Off the top of my head, design your revolution, design the two sides, their causes, their motivations, why they're at war. Usually when you have a revolution, you have a ruling class, and then you have an uprising from people who don't like what that ruling class is doing. And so they're protesting, they're doing things, they're acts of violence, guerrilla warfare, they're doing stuff, right? Set that up, have that context, have that conflict. Maybe make it nebulous as to who's in the right and who's in the wrong. Maybe have there be a question there. Because if you want your players to choose a side, make that choice meaningful. Make it a meaningful choice. If you set something up, let's pick on slavery. The ruling class is they have slaves, and the revolution is people who disagree with slavery, and they're gonna fight against that. You're not giving your players any choices. They must side with the revolutionaries who are trying to abolish slavery. They must. It is what they will do. They have no choice in the matter. So if you want to set that revolution up and you want your players to pick a side, make it a meaningful choice. And that means that who is in the right and who is in the wrong needs to be up in the air. It needs to be a question that your players need to consider given all of the facts and circumstances, and your players need to decide which side of that conflict they're going to be on. Now, the details are up to you. All the very specific details are up to you, but that would be my recommendation. Make it a meaningful choice and have there be gray areas and uncertainty. Don't make it clear and don't make it obvious. If you do, the choice is not meaningful, and they kind of have to go that way because you set it up that way. So don't set it up that way. Make it a meaningful choice. Can you please make Swarm of Cats in one of your products? Or have you already? I'm not sure. There you go, Penguin Butt. There's another request. Swarm of cats. Waffleson says, give them large mounts that can honk. Thank you, sir. I get that reference. Uh-oh. Yeah, YouTube is giving an error saying it's not getting enough video to maintain smooth streaming. But the interesting thing is that I am getting 0 error rates in OBS. Like, OBS is giving me a green light. So the only thing I can think of is that it's YouTube's problem, because OBS, I'm transmitting very clearly, so I don't think that there's any problem on my end, not that I can see. Yeah, so sorry if you're having a hard time understanding me. I'm doing my very best. Would it be good as a DM to take time after the session to dialogue about the session, what they liked, how things can improve, etc.? Yes, absolutely. I've done that before in my groups. I literally will go around the table and I'll say, each person, I would like you to tell me 3 things. You know, what you liked about the game session, what you didn't like about the game session, and then something that we might consider adding and doing that would make the game better. Just a suggestion, you know. That's it. And we go around the table, we talk about it, we get some feedback. I'll have my notebook out and I take notes, and there you go. What do you do about a DM who seems simply unmotivated to prep, or some things, or sometimes even have sessions? I don't know, find a new dungeon master. like if you are a player in a game and your dungeon master doesn't seem like they actually want to run the game, and they're not prepping the game and they're unmotivated and stuff, they're probably burnt out and they're losing interest and they just don't care anymore. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna give them a pep talk? You gonna like try to infuse motivation in them? Like, I don't know what you would do as a player. You know, I mean, you could try to encourage them. You could say something like, hey, you know, X, Y, and Z time ago, like, these games were lots of fun and stuff, but it seems like you're unmotivated and stuff. Like, is everything okay? Is there anything that I can do to help as a player? Like, I know I see, you know, you seem unmotivated and stuff, and I mean, your games were fun, I was enjoying them, but things seem to be declining. Like, what can I do to help? Is there anything going on? Like, you know, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of, is try to offer to help them and encourage them. Maybe that's all I can think of. Continues to decline and nothing happens, you know, or you're not very close to them and you just don't have that relationship with them. It's probably time to find a new game to play in, I guess. If they don't want to run the game, like, I don't know what else to say. You know, the correct thing to do, stick it out thick and thin. You stay with them to the end because you're a faithful, loyal player. Nah, it's a game, dude. It's a game. And if they're not running a great game because whatever reason, you're well within your rights to find a new game. You know, there's no, like, yeah, you're not married to them. We're not talking about matrimony here. It's a D&D game. That's what it is. That is a fun question. How do you deal with the min-maxing rules lawyer at your table who is also your significant other? You're screwed, dude. Like, what are you gonna do? You're screwed. Min-maxing rules lawyer who's also like your wife or your husband or something, or your girlfriend or boyfriend. Like, there's nothing you can do. What are you going to do? Like, yeah. Let's try to resolve this issue at the game table. Are you gonna cross that bridge? Are you going there? Are you going there? I once was in a group where the dungeon master was the husband and then his wife was a player. And he was also sometimes there was another dungeon master and he was a player and his wife was a player. And let me tell you, the squabbling and the bickering, man, there was a lot of that going on. And it was like, man, you know, like, could we not do this? Like, I understand, yeah, relationship, okay, great, but I just want to play the game. I don't want to be a spectator to the marital bickering going on right now. If we could avoid that, I would appreciate it, because I want to play my game. I just came here to play. I want to roll dice, I want to kill monsters, and I want to eat my pizza. That's why I showed up. So how do you deal with it? I don't know. Very, very carefully. You deal with that very, very carefully. I don't really have any great advice for you, dude. I mean, try to talk to your significant other and explain why what they're doing is causing a problem in the game and how it's affecting things, and that you would appreciate it if they would change, and try to have that conversation. I would suggest you don't do it at the game table. Definitely do it away from the game table to avoid a spectacle for everybody else. They probably don't want to. It just depends on your relationship too. You know, like some couples will be fine having that conversation and it's not a big deal. Others, there might be some tension there and you probably want to do that in private. So I have no great advice for you. Sorry. Oh, my stream is down. It's down. Now OBS says it's down. That's very sad. All right, I'm gonna do a little check here. Oh, it's so sad. All right, let's do speed test. Speed test. Speed test. We're gonna do a speed test here. Oh wow, that's pretty slow. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, Miller. I got you, dude. All right, we're doing a speed test. Now OBS is showing me red as well. Okay, well the download speed's looking okay-ish. I bet it's my upload speed. I'm probably getting throttled on my upload speed. This happens every so often with my internet provider. They throttle me. Yeah, I've only got 20 megabytes per second upload speed. Usually it's around 50 or so. Yeah, so they're totally throttling me. Bunch of jerks. It's running in 144p now. Wow. That's really bad. I can't do anything. Mark Zuckerberg has killed the chat. Why did he do it? Why did he kill the chat? 144p. Can you even determine what you're seeing? No. That's like me without my glasses on. Like, I'm practically blind. I can't see like anything. I can see like rectangles and colors. That's it. It's just shapes and colors. Oh, I'm green now. I'm green. So maybe things are going better now. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to just deal with it. How often do you look at variant races for setting purposes? I don't know what that means. Sorry. I'm running Lost Mines of Phandelver for a group of coworkers, but one of them only shows up every third game. Should I have my good players split gold and loot on the off weeks? I have a better idea. How about the player who never shows up gets removed from the group? How about that? How about, like, if you can't play the game, that's fine, but just don't up. I think that's probably a better solution. Every third game? They're only there 1/3 of the time? Anyway. When they're not there, they get nothing. They don't get a share of the loot. They don't get a share of the gold. If you're using XP, they don't get XP. Just, no, they don't. You know what? If you want to enjoy the rewards of playing the game, show up to play the game. Like, is that hard? Like, you can't just be like, well, you know, hey, I'm just not going to show up at all, ever, but I want a cut of the magic items. I want a cut of the gold, and I want my character to level up. Yeah, but you don't show up to the game. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. You haven't been to the game in 2 years. I don't care. I want my character to be leveling up. It doesn't make sense. Uh-oh. Now we're getting, my moderators are like, don't talk about Zuckerberg. Or those like political comments or something. Chad needs to find his glasses. Good luck, dude. That's the worst thing, dude. When you're blind, like, and you can't really see without your glasses, when you don't know where your glasses are, good luck finding them because you can't see them. It's the catch-22, man. My wife misplaces her glasses all the time. She'll be like, where's my glasses? Where are my glasses? And I'm like, I don't know. Why are you asking me where your glasses are? I don't know where your glasses are. I keep mine on my face. Then I know where they are. I'm thinking of an adventure with an alien big bad. What level should my players be, like from the first movie? I don't know. Create the monster and determine what the CR of the monster is going to be, and then you'll know what level your players need to be. It's all variable enough in the air. I don't think, well, first of all, an alien from the movies probably doesn't even have that high of a CR. It's probably like a CR2. Like a CR2 creature. It's not even that high. It's just that, you know, common human beings are pretty weak and squishy, which is why aliens, well, you know, the interesting thing is from those movies, when the humans have real guns and stuff, they just shoot the crap out of them and kill them all. When the humans don't have them, it's a massive threat because they don't have any weapons. Which tells you that the CR can't be that high on those creatures. I've been a forever DM and have been DMing a common group of mine. I kind of want to be playing as a player again instead, but I can't convince anyone else to DM. Do you have any tips? Go on strike. Go on strike. That's it. Just go on strike. Guys, I'm done DMing for a while. I'm taking a break. If you want to play D&D, one of you needs to DM. Would one of you like to DM? Well, No, not really. Okay, we're not playing D&D for a while. Well, really? Yeah. Yeah. Like, I've been a dungeon master for the last 5 years. We need to spread the love around. I'm done DMing for a while. If you want to play D&D, one of you needs to DM. That's it. That's the way it's going to be. Any volunteers? No, not really. Okay, cool. I'm going to go find a different group that I can be a player when I feel like DMing again. Because I want to be a player. Yeah, so yeah, I'll be in touch. Sail off. I mean, what are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do? You can't strong arm him in doing it. So you just say, listen, I don't want to DM for a while. I want to be a player. If nobody here wants to DM, that's cool, but I'm not doing it. I'm gonna go find another group where I'm gonna be a player for a while. That's what I'm gonna do. You're not like, yeah, that's, you just do what you gotta do. I don't know. Probably what I would do. Man, my stream is red again. Jacob, thank you for the $2 super chat. Any tips for taking notes for writing a session? My gosh, there's so many different things you could say about that. I have multiple videos that talk about that. I have a video that talks the notes you should take as a dungeon master. If you're preparing for a game session, there are different types of notes you're going to make. If you're creating an adventure, there are different types of notes you're going to take. There are lots of different tons of notes that you can take. Organization. Bullet points, heading levels. If you're going to make notes, you need to make them so that you can easily refer to them while you're running the game session. You can't be searching for things and unable to find things when you're actually running the game. So I have several videos about taking notes. I'll definitely refer you to those, but if you're going to take notes, organize them. Organize. Otherwise, you're going to be the dude flipping through the module who can't find the part in the module that like corresponds to whatever's happening in the game. And then they're trying to find it and stuff and they just can't find it. So you want to be able to find stuff in your notes. Oh, wow. Dude, look at that. Ed Robinson is almost dead. Like up here, he's almost dead. The next super chat or tip will kill him and you will get your name up top. That is amazing. He is slivered. He's totally slivered. Oh, wow. I missed that. Kirby, dude, thank you so much for the $25 tip. Sweet. Kirby is just the man. Thank you so much, dude. All tips are going toward the Capital Area Humane Society too, by the way. That is our charity we're raising money for currently. Oh, I got that one. I already did that one. There's the spinning wheel again. Yeah, I know. The stream is having lots of trouble tonight. Yeah, my stream is pretty much dead over here. Like I got red in OBS like all the time. Do you have any tips to have your players respect or fear your villain rather than them joking about him constantly? Yeah. Have your villain be worthy of respect and fear. You guys notice something in Star Wars? In the original Star Wars trilogy with Darth Vader, nobody joked about Darth Vader. Nobody. Do you want to know why nobody joked about Darth Vader? Because Darth Vader just like force choked you for no reason. He would hold you up with one arm and strangle you to death because he wanted information that you didn't have. You didn't cross Darth Vader. You don't make fun of him. If you do, you're dead. No questions, you're dead. You don't screw with him. He was a villain to be feared and respected. However, have you noticed the new Darth Vader substitutes in the new Star Wars?
The guy with the face mask, you know, who has the deep voice, and then he takes the face mask off. What is that guy's name? I don't even know what that guy's name is, but that is the worst villain in the world. Because people mock him to his face. They say jokes to his face, and he does nothing. That is not a Sith Lord. That is not a villain to be feared. Because you can mock him to his face and he does nothing. So yeah, that's not how to make a villain. If you want your players to respect your villain, to fear your villain, have your villain be worthy of respect and fear. Have them do horrible bad things. Have them kill characters if they can. Have them hunt down your character's loved ones and kill them. Have them capture NPCs that your characters are close to and then decapitate them and send them their heads in baskets. Oh, hi. I'm the bad guy. Remember me? You were making fun of me. Here's your favorite shopkeeper. I've killed them. Oh, remember your sister? Yeah, I killed her too. But I tortured her first. Are you still making fun of me? It can get worse. It can. You gotta, if they're not respecting your big bad, make your big bad evil. Make them do bad things. Make them fear them. They might. Should I go full blast that the queen, big bad, is eating children? Or should I slowly trickle the information as they fight her army of minions? It's your choice, obviously, but I feel like it's probably going to be more satisfying to slowly have that information revealed and to have your players slowly figure it out. And don't be obvious about it. Be very, like, you never outward say or reveal to them that the queen eats children. But through clues and evidence, they start to suspect. And then they start to believe that she is eating the children. But you never tell them. There's never any evidence. They never find it. It's just hints and clues and suspicions. I feel like that is probably a better way to go about it. And more satisfying and more interesting than just simply saying, oh yeah, the queen, she eats children. Not, you know. So that's how I would personally do it. Kylo Ren, yes. Kylo Ren, that's the guy I was talking about. The previous question, the stream was like dying, so I don't know if you guys caught this. But the person was asking how to make a villain that the players fear and don't make and don't mock and are like, he's not a big deal. What I was trying to say, and if you caught this, but Darth Vader was a villain to be feared because he killed people and he was ruthless. Kylo Ren is a joke because in the very first movie where you have the stormtrooper scene and the stormtrooper is like, you know, takes his helmet off and is like questioning being a stormtrooper, and Kylo Ren comes out of the ship, and then there's that pilot, the rebel pilot, and then Kylo Ren is facing off against the rebel pilot, and the rebel pilot is like, okay, this is awkward. Who talks first? Do you talk first? Do I talk first? Like, I don't know how this works. He's literally mocking Kylo Ren to his face, making light of the situation and everything, and Kylo Ren does nothing. There are no consequences to mocking the big bad, to mocking him to his face. He does nothing. And you lose all respect for that character. All respect for that big bad. They are not to be feared. Darth Vader would have never put up with that. Darth Vader would have been like, I find your lack of faith, or I find your lack of respect disturbing. And that rebel pilot would have been dead right there. Done. Wiped out. Gone. And then the stormtrooper would have been like, holy crap. Don't screw with that guy. Put the helmet back on. Get back in line. Because that guy, you don't want to mess with him. But no, Kylo Ren was a pushover. He was the worst. He's one of the worst villains possible. You don't respect him. You don't fear him. And Disney's like the director's trying to make some sort of lighthearted, joking moment when they could have been establishing that villain as an actual villain and not as a joke. But instead, they decided to establish Kylo Ren as a joke.
Well done. We now have a villain that we do not fear and we do not respect. Congratulations. You have accomplished your goal, I guess, of making a crappy villain. So yeah, Kylo Ren's a horrible villain. Don't do that. If you want to make a good villain, look at Darth Vader. Don't look at Kylo Ren. It's horrible. Woo. We're just gonna call you Boy One. Boy One. Thank you for the $5 tip. I appreciate that. The killing question. Oh, you got your name up top. Nice. Well done, dude. Well done. Is it okay to make a paladin follow a god that doesn't actually exist in the game's world, but another god is filling in that spot, even if that god isn't credited by the paladin? Sure, that's okay. Why not? I mean, you probably want to collaborate with your dungeon master to see that, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is my pitch. This is my idea. Is this okay? Who knows? I wouldn't have a problem with that as a dungeon master. I would like the idea of you doing this little thing here, and we can work out some details. I might have some special requests to make sure that it fits into my campaign setting, but I don't think that's a problem. If your pitch to me is, listen, my paladin is misguided. They're worshiping a deity that doesn't even exist, but another real deity is kind of standing in that place to kind of like take their worship and take their prayers and thus gain power. Okay, that's interesting. That sounds cool. We can probably do something with that. There can probably be a moment in the game where that is revealed or something comes of that. So yeah, that sounds like a cool thing that we could do. So talk to your dungeon master, but I don't think there's any problem with that. But yeah, it could be cool. Sure. Heated Quid says, even though Kylo Ren is a horrible villain, he's still one of the better sequel characters. That is probably true. Oh my gosh. Because if you look at Rey, the protagonist, she's the world's worst character. She's like totally Mary Sue. She's just, it's so dumb. So dumb. She's horrible. The Stormtrooper, I don't mind I don't remember the name of the Stormtrooper that becomes like a quasi protagonist. I don't mind him that much. He's okay. Luke Skywalker just annoys the crap out of me. The way they portrayed him in the sequel, the latest movies, like, so stupid. I hate how they portrayed him. I hate how he died. It was ridiculous. The captain of the ship that like rammed her ship into the Super Star Destroyer or whatever, she was a horrible character. Yeah, there were so many bad characters. There were so many bad characters. Like those 3 movies were like characterized by bad characters in a lot of different ways. They handled Han Solo's death so horribly. Not that they killed him. It's fine to kill characters off, but the way they handled his death was just stupid. There were so many. Oh, what's her name? Princess Leia. Gosh, the way they handled her, it's just, oh my gosh. Yeah. So many bad characters. So many bad characters. So yeah, Kylo Ren was probably not that bad, relatively speaking. Turned into a Star Wars commentary. All right, I think we're gonna do our giveaway now. If you have not signed up for the giveaway, we are doing. It was really bad writing. It was bad writing. It was probably bad directing. The vision. It was just all absolutely horrible. It was atrocious. It was so bad. Anyway, we're doing a giveaway. We're doing a giveaway. D&D book of your choice. You can get store credit at the DM Lair store. We have lots of cool stuff. We have Lair magazine back issues. We have Into the Fae. You can get on there as well. Map packs. Cool stuff on there. So join the giveaway. There should be a link in the chat. One of my lovely moderators will put a link down there for the giveaway.
Who's doing the linking? So that people can go sign up for it. Who's on link duty? They're like, Luke, we put the link. Calm down. It takes some time. There's a delay. Luke, calm down. There's a delay. Honestly, the way they advertised the new series, I thought he was going to be the new Jedi, and I was kind of psyched for that. Oh, interesting. If Kylo Ren had gone to the dark side and then came back and was like a new Jedi, oh, that'd be interesting. That would be a twist. But instead, we got a Mary Sue, who just came from Tatooine. Imagine that. Had zero training and just crazily developed all these Jedi powers so quickly. And anytime that there was any sort of obstacle in the game, or in the movie, she amazingly had the ability to overcome it. Just no training, nothing. Just boop, 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 boop. You're the most powerful Jedi in the world with zero training. Haha, imagine that. Oh, they also Mary Sue the heck out of Leia. Oh, interesting. Yeah, when she's like supposedly dead in outer space and just floating there, and then all of a sudden she like force zips back into the spaceship. Yeah. Penguin Butt's like, there was a delay. Tatooine. Okay, there we go. So sign up. I'm rambling so people have a chance to sign up for the giveaway. Anakin was getting his butt kicked up and down in the Clone Wars. Trying to think about that. He was still learning. He was a Padawan. It was taking a while. I don't know. I'm glad they decanonized the new trilogy. Oh, nice. David Russell says, what makes Lair magazine better than other D&D magazine subscriptions on the market? Honestly, I don't pay attention to the competition. My goal is to make what we produce as good as we possibly can. I'm not out there surveying what other people are doing and worrying about all that stuff. I don't have time to do that. My focus is on making the products that we create as absolute good as we possibly can for you guys. One of our focuses on creating our products is making them easy to use and easy to reference at the game table. That is one of our big goals. So a lot of modules, a lot of things are written in a way to be read, but not necessarily to be referenced and used at the game table. They're not made in a way such to make your prep time easier, to make you running the game easier. One of the ways that we design our products is for them to be easier to use and reference at the game table. And so instead of having large blocks of paragraphs of text, we have bullet point lists, we have bold words. If there's a cabinet in the room and you want to know what's in the cabinet, there's an entire paragraph dedicated to cabinets that literally has cabinet in bold text and you can refer to it. Does this make for a beautiful layout that looks amazing and wonderful, like you're reading a novel or something? No, it doesn't. But what it does do is it creates a product that you can easily run a game with, because that is the real purpose of what we create. So I think that is probably something that distinguishes us from other products. All right, let's do our giveaway. I've talked and rambled enough. Now it's time to go do this thing. Picking a winner to the giveaway, and then I'm going to bed. Here we go. Drawing a winner right now. All right, verify this right here. All right, Loquacious, are you still on? First name, Charles. Hello, are you here? You are the winner. Congratulations, dude. I'm gonna be sending you an email, dude, to get you hooked up, man. So take a look out for that, and congratulations. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
We are done. I'm leaving. Thank you so much. It has been wonderful hanging out with all of you guys. We're going to be back on next week on Friday. Have a wonderful evening. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I'm going to get some food maybe and then go to bed. Okay. Bye now.